everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome to the main stage. We are about to get underway with our World's Watch Party. And I'm in the very best of company for it. Not only do I have you fine folks gathered in our audience getting ready to get underway, I'm joined by two of the modern greats of the game, Luis Scott-Vargas and Andrea Mengucci. Now, boys, the plan for the rest of the afternoon, we're going to be chilling out, we're going to be hanging out, we're going to be watching Worlds, of course. Got the deck list for you there, Mengu, no worries at all. But before we do that, let's settle in, talk a little bit about the plan for the afternoon. We've got 2 bags filled with collector boosters and secret lairs that we will be taking home with us, so that was fantastic. That's really good that they were generous enough to...
do some unboxing.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the pick?
Make some videos.
Collector booster draft.
That's it. We're going to be giving them away throughout the afternoon. Have you guys gone this weekend? What have you been up to, Luis?
Well, we've got a 100K top 8er here.
I top 8'd the Limited Open, which we could say is kind of a GP, so that's my second GP top 8.
Yeah, well, I think it's fine.
Yeah, and so yeah, qualified to the PT, so that's very exciting.
Yeah, I know you were very happy to snag the PT qualification. It'd be good to have you back, Mengu. Luis, you also played in the 100K, but we don't have to...
I also competed in the 100K.
You competed in that. And, look, at the end of the day, we're all winners for having taken part.
Some more than others.
Yeah, some a little bit more than others, but that's very true. Speaking of winners, let's have a look at what's going on in Worlds. Remind ourselves of where we got to. We're checking in here in the semi-finals. Simon Nielsen versus Kazuna Kasaka, our game here. We can only see half the screen, which is not great.
Yeah, we don't see very well.
Leaning forward a little bit here. Looks like Kasaka's up 2-0 at this stage. On the back table, Anthony Lee versus Jean-Emmanuel Duprat. I will be unashamedly supporting my countryman, Anthony Lee from Australia. Let's go, Australia. All right. So I don't need your pity claps.
I want to put things clear here. The public needs to cheer more, because the way this is going to work is you cheer a lot for people, and we reward you with some of these.
All right, okay. So they'll cheer for collector boosters, but not for the greatest nation on earth.
Let's repeat.
They can be bribed.
Let's repeat what you say.
I will, of course, be going for Anthony Lee, the greatest country on earth, Australia. I like that. That's a bit better. All right.
4 extra tokens in play.
So what have we got going on here? Esper mid-range versus Blue-White Soldiers. Luis, I was catching up with Anthony, who's on Simon's team. He was talking about, he didn't end up playing the Soldiers deck because he said he and Javier couldn't get to a point where they were actually happy with how well they were playing it, if that makes sense. Apparently it's a really complicated deck to learn how to play well.
Yeah, I can totally believe that, and I think Anthony did a really smart move there by not playing a deck that you're not fully capable or confident in your ability to play. It's so much better to play a deck you're really comfortable with, and after watching him play Golgari, he's certainly very comfortable with the deck.
I'm sure we'll come back to Golgari, talk about that deck once he's featured here. But what are some of the complications involved in playing this deck? Like, if someone wants to pick up Azorius Soldiers, what are some of the things they might have to keep in mind?
Well, one of the things that's pretty interesting is it's not really an aggro deck, it's a little bit more of a mid-range deck.
Okay.
And it does have some games where it just like curves out and then goes wide and just attacks. But it has plenty of games that, Simon's very capable of going long and winning a protracted, grindy game. So you really have to be familiar with the ins and outs of it.
I would imagine particularly after sideboard, you've got a whole lot more interaction that comes in after board. This is a 28 creature deck, but then post-board, Mengu, you can side in a whole lot of interaction and disruption, kind of changes the way the deck plays a little bit.
Yeah, good old, bringing counterspell post-sideboard against the slower decks.
Yep.
But I don't know if he's going to bring them, if he has brought them in against Esper mid-range. Maybe you want to keep a more aggressive line. I'm not sure what's their approach. By the way, I wanted to shout out Simon because he's been on a...
Oh, they're learning. They're learning.
They're learning. Yeah.
They're learning.
Woo. I said I wanted to shout out Simon because he's absolute tier. Like, he top-8'd the PT in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
He top 8 at the PT in Barcelona, and he top 8 worlds all in a row. This is something that, 3 PT levels tournament in a row. This is something that almost nobody ever did, Luis.
Yeah.
I can barely remember it, but it did happen.
Oh. Do you know, Riley, who was that?
I don't think there's anyone particularly. No, when did you do it?
2016.
This was around the time of the Settle the Wreckage, right?
No, that was actually a different time.
That was a different time. Wow. There's so many times.
It's hard to remember.
Who can keep track of them all?
Who keeps track?
Who can keep track of them all?
No, for real, when was it?
It was 2016. It was the Green-Black Company deck,
Oh, yeah.
Eldrazi, and the Bant Company
Bad
deck.
Company, yeah, I remember.
So
Good
two
days.
good decks and a really bad one.
Yeah, the one with
Cryptolith Rights was not my finest moment.
Blister Pod.
Blister Pod, yeah, you got to remember that one.
All right, so what are we looking at here? Simon fighting for his tournament life here, down 2-0 against Kazuna Kasaka. So this is game 3. Sideboards will have come into play now. And a whole lot of stuff going on both sides, but it looks like, is it Kasaka's on the attack here, and Simon's trying to figure out how he wants to stay. He's on 5.
One of the things that's a little tough for Simon, though, is that he's got a lot of creatures in play, but they're all 1/1s pretty much. They're a bunch of Resolute Reinforcements, and Esper Legends has a bunch of Legends. Those are a little bit more impressive.
What happened to the picture of the cards of Kozaka? Did they not load? Why they're all black?
Yeah, he's got the Midnight Hunt versions of them.
Oh, the special art. So what does he have in play? That's Danik. Like, it clearly looks like a Danik to me, right?
There's an Adeline there. That's the second card from the right for sure. Is an Adeline. Kasaka's playing at a fair clip here. Look at this.
Well, he activated the creature line so fast.
He's moving too fast.
Yeah, that
looks like
There's no way the game's not over.
He made the map and it's over.
He activated that creature land in his upkeep by the look of things.
Oh, wow. Is it going to be a 3-0 clean?
Down to 2.
A lot of sweeps today.
Simon Nielsen down to 2 now.
Is that...
Clearly there's a Rafine in play, too.
There is a...
So Kasaka there, that was... Is that him conniving? Yeah. And now a removal spell as well. And Simon Nielsen is going to say that is that. Kazuna Kasaka through to the finals of the World Championship. All right. 3-0.
Yeah,
The
Kazuna
3-0 clean
Kozaka. He top 16 the last Pro Tour. Was playing Yawgmoth. I remember he had a very tense last match against Alexander Hayne. So...
Oh, they were the ones who ended up drawing.
Drawing, yeah. So... Kind of a crazy run for him too. I believe he also did well in Minneapolis. So, yeah, this top 4 Worlds is, I mean, it's Worlds, so it's obviously loaded of great players. So it's gonna be Kazuna in the final with Esper mid range.
Yep.
Do you think this is a good moment to kind of go around and see if people are interested in some collector boosters?
Are they? I don't think they are.
Luis says it isn't, though.
No.
No, it is.
I don't think we're going to have too much trouble getting people arced up about collector boosters, Mengu. You do your thing. Like an Italian Father Christmas.
Yeah.
All the good little kids getting their stocking stuffers. Look at that. Here he goes. Oh, he's coming all the way.
All the way to the back.
Over to the merch shop. People in the line for the merchandise are going to be picking them up. Oh, jeez. All right. So we've got to find an opponent, right, for Kasaka in the finals. And it's going to be either Anthony Lee or it's going to be Jean-Emmanuel Dutra. We'll come back to Anthony Lee in a second. Let's talk about the other Esper deck here.
Later.
Fan favorite Mengu returns to the stage. This is a different looking Esper deck. This is the Esper Legends deck. Do you think this is any good? I've heard some really divided opinions on this list.
I mean, I think the Esper Legends deck has been a good deck basically ever since Streets of New Capenna came out.
Yeah.
Like, Rafine has really been like the centerpiece of the deck. And Jean-Emmanuel Duprat is just an incredible player. Like, he just consistently puts up awesome results and very, very much knows how to think about the game. So this is going to be a tough battle.
We see some of the openers with the Esper Legends deck that are just unbeatable, right? Like, you open with Skrelv into Thalia into Rafine, and you've got sort of like a triple layer of protection against enemy disruption with Skrelv, Thalia, and of course the ward on Rafine. Mengu, how do we beat this deck? What has to go right for Anthony in order to pick apart what the Esper Legends deck is trying to do?
Well, Anthony's deck has like, so many removal spells. You go for the throw, cut down. So cut down notoriously the only card that can deal with Raffine for just 2 mana. And this is something that, it's really good to have against Raffine because, of course, like Virtue of Persistence doesn't even kill that. Although, of course, there's a lot of ground creature in Anthony's deck. I believe that, most of his deck is not very good at blocking flyers. And so this matchup is going to be tough, but I'm sure that, Anthony Lee's practicing with the best team in the world right now, Team Handshake. So I'm sure that...
No, I think he's with the team...
What's that?
With Team World League Council, Anthony, right?
No. Anthony?
Yeah.
No, Handshake.
Oh, he's with Handshake. Okay.
Yeah, with Javier and Nathan and etc.
Okay, sure. Yep.
And I'm sure they tested the matchup infinite.
Yeah.
Because, they're both, Javier and Anthony, workhorses. So I'm confident that they think the matchup is decent, because otherwise they wouldn't register a deck that's better against Esper mid-range in this field. So I'm obviously rooting for Anthony. He's my co-host of the podcast.
Let's go, Anthony. All right. Woo!
So, yeah, despite, as Luis said, Jean-Manuel is one of the best players in the world, has been crushing it for so many years at this point, ever since the MPL in 2019, and hasn't stopped since he's right here with in top 4 of Worlds.
I remember covering one of JED's very first, if not his actual first ever feature matches at a European Grand Prix. This was a guy who already there was a bit of a buzz about him and how good he was and that sort of thing. And I remember, Jean-Manuel Duprat coming up from France. And from there, he just hasn't stopped. It's just been up like to the moon.
Yeah,
and he's still putting up the numbers. He's still getting it done. Yeah,
him and Team France won the last World Magic Cup in 2018. They defeated us in the top 4. And then a few months later, he top 8 the PT Rivals of Ixalan. So that is definitely kind of a way to get then into the MPL and all the results that we've seen Jean-Emmanuel doing during the arena days.
He hasn't slowed down. On the other side of the table, Anthony Lee playing Golgari mid-range. I believe this was... I'm 90% confident that it was an article that you wrote that I read on channelfireball.com many years ago, a Vintage Cube primer. And one of the things you very specifically avoided people to do was just draft green-black good stuff.
Oh, wow.
Because in Vintage Cube, green-black good stuff ends up being green-black terrible stuff.
Yeah, that's probably the 5th time I've written that in a different article.
Yeah, right.
But,
okay, so it was an LSV article that I saw that in.
I would say that doesn't quite apply to Standard when you get cards like Mosswood Dread Knight.
Sure.
Like, that card is a really strong reason to be in Golgari. And, Standard is a good home for, grindy mid-range decks.
You can say it's the best card because it's the only 4 of in the whole deck. Every other card is 2, 3, or 1.
So we must be onto a winner with this one.
Meaning that's the only good card and everything else is filler.
Yeah. I like decks like these. They tend to be very reliable. We tend to call these Jund style decks, even though this isn't the Jund colors. This is just efficient removal, high-powered threats. Not a huge amount of synergy between the cards. You're often expecting these cards to sort of stand on their own 2 feet and provide value without necessarily needing the support of other cards. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, each of these cards is just good by itself.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mix and match. You don't really care which cards you draw as long as you draw a mix of lands and spells.
Yeah.
But on the downside to that is your cards don't really enhance each other all that much either. You're just playing good cards.
So you've got a high floor, but also kind of a low ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I would say that Anthony's and Javier deck came up with something different than the normal Golgari that was floating around. They were playing Blossoming I don't know how to pronounce it. Tortoise. Blossoming Tortoise, which works very well with both the Restless Cottage and the Mishra's Foundry.
Yes.
So that is something that I believe Standard didn't have before, and now you have this creature lands package.
Well, the creature lands are really interesting because some of the cycle of ones from the original Zendikar, the Celestial Colonnade, the rest of them, they were great. Most of them. Sorry, the red-black one is never really quite got their Lava Claw reaches, but the rest of them are really good. And then they revisited them in Battle for Zendikar, and they were absolute stinkers. They were the green-black Death Touch one was okay.
The Hissing Quagmire.
Hissing Quagmire and the
they were bad.
Shambling Vents.
Shambling Vent saw modern play.
Yeah.
But this is much better than Shambling Vent.
Oh yeah.
But we're kind of back to form with the Restless.
We're talking Raging Ravine level cards here, And
yeah.
I mean, we've seen Shota splashing the Restless Cottage in Demir Fairies.
I'm not sure if people saw this, but jump on and have a look at shot for the World Championship. He's playing straight blue-black, except his map has green in it, just to activate creature lands. There are no green cards in the list. It's just to activate the creature lands. That's how good he considers them to be.
Yeah, Luis, I don't know how many times you've splashed creature lands in draft, but I've certainly did it in this format.
Yeah, definitely.
Just splashing blue for the 5/5.
You got Restless
trample.
Vinestock, the blue-green.
Yeah.
It's just really good, yeah.
Just like 2-color green, splashing blue for a land.
Look, Shota's great. Shota's a very, do as I say, not as I do player. Like, I would say Shota brings decks that only Shota's going to win with most of the time.
I can think of another do as I say, don't do as I do player who's sitting here with us right now. The classic, what was the card there? The octopus?
Lorthos, yeah.
Yeah, Lorthos the Tidemaker, an all-time classic LSV video.
Not a good recommendation to play in that format, but it certainly was a lot of fun.
When it came together, oh boy. Let's talk a little bit about Anthony Lee, a mate of mine from Australia, all the way out over in Perth, so a long, long way away. Sort of the equivalent. Thank you very much.
A lot of people from Perth
here. Very good. Say again?
A lot of people from Perth here.
A lot of people from Perth. Yeah, let's hear it about Perth. Yeah. Perth sucks. But I'm very pleased to see Anthony Lee making it. I was at the regional championship doing a bit of coverage there in Australia over in Sydney when, to the surprise of exactly no one, he won the first one and then top 8 of the second one. So this guy is, he's hungry. He's ready to get it done. And also just a very, very, very lovely dude. I don't know what your interactions have been with Anthony at the Pro Tour over the years. I know you've worked with him a little more than
Anthony's a great friend of mine. He helped me so much in the past. And we have a podcast together every week. We have a Discord group where he mostly just uses to make fun of me on every occasion possible.
That's interesting.
I don't have that with LSV, but I'm sure he would also find a way to.
Well, that's what we have panels like this for.
Yeah, true.
Javier has exactly the same feeling that like your community is set up purely to make fun of him as well. So,
well, he defends very well. I'm just kind of like let it happen.
You're a soft target.
Yeah,
I see.
Exactly. I don't mind.
Javier's like the harder difficulty setting if you want to get after him.
Javier is just there. It takes both parties.
All right. Okay. So this matchup, as we head into it now, how are we characterizing it? Do we think that Dupraz is favoured here with Esper Legends? Is Lee going to have to dig deep to try to pull this apart? Or what do you think?
I don't know if Golgari or Esper Legends have ever been a favourite in any matchup they've played.
Okay.
Like it's always just 50-50.
Yes, okay.
Unless you think otherwise. I don't know how big of an edge either player is going to have here.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Anthony has an edge just because
he's your friend. Yeah,
because he's my friend.
All right. Yeah. I like to hear that. I will take that.
That's
all
good
day
analysis.
Long. Let's go. Well, let's check in with our crowd. Who thinks that the Frenchman's going to get there with Esper Legends? Let's hear it.
Woo! Woo! Let's do another walk around.
Yeah, don't give any of these people any boosters. They're going for the wrong guy, though.
What's that?
All the Dupraz fans, they get nothing.
No.
Let's hear it for Anthony. Who's going to win it? Who thinks Anthony's going to take it out with Golgari mid-range? Our little Italian Father Christmas goes around as well, once again. Well, anyway, you slice it, Luis. We're gonna have a clash of the Titans here with these two decks going at it, hammer and tongs, before very much longer. We can see the decks previewed here. Looks like Maria and Marnie are walking through it. Cool to see how this deck's evolved now with Fairy Mastermind also joining the fray. Although not a legend.
No.
Not a legend. Although it depicts,
but has a legend on it.
Depicts a legend.
Exactly.
But it's not a legendary card. Very true.
Yeah, so, Yuta Takahashi and I, we've kind of bonded over our love for beta cards.
Yeah.
Like when we played at the Legacy Pro Tour, the Pro Tour M25.
Yes.
And we were both in the Legacy seat.
Yep.
And we both would like he played a beta Underground scene. I was like, ooh, and I would pick it up and get it. And I played a beta Underground scene. He's like, oh, and he like,
yeah, very good.
He's got good taste. Is all I'm saying.
And of course, only appropriate playing these ancient cards in a format like Legacy.
Of course.
It's fantastic to see. Here's Anthony Lee's list again. Just a pile of good cards.
Just a pile of cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
at least most of them are good.
Can we call it gold garbage?
We'll see how he goes.
It's your friend. He'll watch this later.
He doesn't listen to me. He's playing, so.
Oh, okay.
I always like to call these decks like Golgari Trade Binder.
Yeah, sure.
Because some of these decks, they kind of feel like you're walking along with the trade binder, you trip and fall. All the cards like spill out everywhere.
I mean, all the creatures are rares.
You pick up the first 60 cards. You're like, yep, that's a deck.
Yeah. I used to call them like whatever color combination, like Golgari cards I own.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you just own these cards and you play them.
Yeah, often Grixis. I see Grixis is
a lot of
like
cards
that.
you own in Grixis.
Or
The old
Sultai
Corey
as well.
Burkhardt special, you know, he's playing the like very scientific one-offs. The deck just wouldn't function without all these one-offs, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is similar, right?
Yeah,
so many
minus
one-offs.
the scientific part, but yeah.
All right.
Here's a scientific one-of now. Gix's Command, a one-of in the main.
That's one of the best cards against Esper Legends.
Yeah, it's for Legends.
It's one of the best cards, Gix's Command. It kills so many things with just and power 2 or less, so it can even kill like Rafine and like all the wedding announcement tokens, as well as killing the largest one. It is. I remember when I played PT March of the Machine, I loved Gix's Command for the Esper Legends matchup.
It seems like a card that is, again, specifically against Ravine, it's good no matter what, because if they've got a massive Ravine, then you can kill it with the sacrifice. If the Ravine is just freshly played, you kill it with the sweeper ability. Oh, here they are. Look at this. Corey and Ailey getting ready to call the match. I had a great time commentating with Corey in Barcelona. I hope to return to the booth before too much longer. But it is good fun to be here. We can kind of let loose a little bit on the main stage. Not quite as regimented over there. And also I can be unashamedly biased, which isn't something that I get to do very often.
Yeah, last time I did this show, there was my great friend Calcano in the top 4 and then in the finals, and I was just,
but are you closer with Calc or Anthony?
Same.
Yeah. That's what my mum would always say. Despite my sister being the clear favourite, she's like, no, I love you all equally. It's like, yeah, all right, you love us all equally, but who do you like more? And it's 100% my sister. Anyway, let's get underway here. I believe this is the play draw rule is based on seeding. So
Jean Emmanuel will be on the play.
Will be on the play.
Anthony was the 8th seed.
Yes, just sneaking in with a draw in the last round. 9 wins to get himself into the top 8 of Worlds. So good news for Jean Emmanuel. He'll be happy to be going first here. Could make a big difference. And opening things up with a 1-drop. That's what you want to see.
Starts very well with a Skrelv.
And a Restless Cottage there for Anthony. So that's not too bad either. But the Skrelv can really power out some pretty ridiculous, impenetrable starts for Esper Legends.
I wonder how many poison victories either of these players have had.
What did you say?
How many poison victories do you think Jean Emmanuel has had in
0?
No. I saw Greg Orge almost get a poison victory with Murex.
Whoa. Yeah, Murex actually is more likely to kill you with poisons than Skrelv. All right, look at that defensive 2-drop in a row now, which is fixes your draws as well as turns into a 5-5 at some point. All right, Anthony has a play here.
All right. Yeah, let's go. Cut down on the Skrelv, but the Rona's going to get in here. The Rona just a 2-of. It's funny seeing all these legends just played as 4-ofs. Does mean you sort of have some awkward draws sometimes. Rafine helps there, right?
Rafine and Rona. They both like tear through it, yeah. Also, there's some like, if you have a Thalia in play, your opponent usually has to kill it in some way, so.
Yeah, Thalia is one of those legends that you really don't mind having 4 copies of because the second, you don't have that diminishing returns on the second one because it's so often that you will end up casting it,
Yeah, both Thalia and, of course, the Word one on Rafine make like harder for your opponent to interact with your threats.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have a second Skrelv here.
Well, they're legendary. You can't have 2 in play.
I see the first one died, yeah. All right. What's the land that Anthony has? Oh, is that a Mishra's Foundry?
That is a Mishra's Foundry.
How do you like Mishra's Foundry?
It's cool. I like creature lands. I think creature lands are awesome. The more creature lands, the better. It's just cool when lands do things. Because that way you can play 27, 28 lands and still have like things to do in the middle of the game.
How do you like the art selection for Duress, which you've done as something?
No, you know which one I would have played. I would have played There Is a Saga Duresses.
What about you, Riley? What type of Duress do you play?
M13.
M13, so the one Anthony has.
Yeah. Does he have exactly M13? Because that art has appeared on a lot of them, but
no, that one is.
So M13 was the first set that I played after having listened to Limited Resources. Woo! So it was the first set that I started playing kind of like Seriously? I remember Marshall teaching me that a Centaur Corsa, like a 3-3 for 3, was actually like a good card, right? Like that's a decent limited card. Yeah. Whereas I was like, well, no, it doesn't do anything. You know, I'll first pick this Gem of Becoming and then draft a Grixis deck because this card actually has text.
Has ability.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got a real soft spot for M13. It also had 2 of the best cards of all time, Thragtusk and Farseek. There's not much more I want. I was really unhappy when they announced that Pioneer was going to go back to Return to Ravnica. I was just like, come on, just one more. Give me Thragtusk, give me Farseek, but no.
Yeah, now Standard lasts longer.
Say again?
Now Standard lasts longer than before.
Yeah.
We're going to have the pleasure to play with Shieldred the Apocalypse for many more times.
Shieldred's a perfect card. Shieldred's an incredible design.
That was a joke. Do you like Shieldred?
Wow.
Yeah. I think Shieldred's a great design.
Woo! Sorry, Luis, you are required to not like what people don't like. That's the
you can just Doomblade it.
That's the rules for sitting on this.
It ends the game quickly. You can Doomblade it. Like, what else do you want? It's a great card.
What about when there's 2 Shieldred, one against each other?
Yeah,
which is a common scenario. It might happen in this game as well.
That does kind of sit there for a little bit, but
now no Shieldred. There's a card tapped in Jean-Emmanuel Deprat board state that I cannot tell what it is.
What's this?
Do you know what card is sitting?
It's Urtai.
It's
right there on the screen, dude.
Of course.
Yeah, it's on the left-hand side of the screen.
I mean, I was looking at the art.
Oh, he's so dialed in. He doesn't look at anything else but
that was your first mistake.
I'm just complaining about the alternative arts.
Yeah?
That's just me.
Okay, well,
don't look at me. But in the meanwhile, here, there's
plenty of alternative arts.
Plenty of secret layers with alternative art. Yes. Do you want one? All right, here it is.
Thank you.
Woo!
Yeah, listen, he's also got a bag full of stuff. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds incredible.
Are you secretly like a discus Olympian?
I've played some Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah, wow, look at that.
They should do a new sport, the secret lair throw.
The secret lair flick, yeah, the throw. Yeah, put up target, see if we can take
if it comes back. Maybe like they ship it as a boomerang.
Yeah. That'd be the Australian version of it, yeah.
So what do you think about Liliana of the Veil coming back?
Ooh, I love that card.
It's a good card.
Liliana of the Veil was like, when I first started to play competitive Magic, PTQs and stuff, I was playing Jund. For Liliana of the Veil from Innistrad, just a great card. Thoughtseize, Dark Confident Liliana.
Yep. Blood-Red Elf?
Blood-Red Elf as well,
yeah,
yes indeed. And it's back, right?
You were like 12, 13 at the time.
What's that?
You were 12 or 13 years old.
Years old?
You must be 12 or 13 playing Jund at that age.
Yeah. Say 20, 20. 19.
Oh, dear. Liliana of the Veil, a card that is, I don't know. It's amazing to see the rise and the fall.
Things have happened. The board is now clear.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, things change now, Liliana. Usually it's like a cruel edict.
Yeah.
And then you gain 2 life.
Yep.
Something like that.
But even that is, against some decks, it's... remember how good that was in Modern back in the day against Blue-White when I was playing that.
Wait, is Jan Emanuel putting us into hard mode? Does he just have different Skrelv arts, like multiple different
That's
kinds?
a Skrelv again, right?
Yeah, that's a different Skrelv.
I'm pretty sure it's another Skrelv.
It is indeed a Skrelv alternative art.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw, the Enchanting Tales, Wilds of Eldraine. We now have enough unique, or nearly enough unique Blood Moon arts to have mismatched playsets on both sides now.
Nice.
So obviously Blood Moon players, really dedicated Blood Moon players, will mismatch their Blood Moons for the extra tilt factor. We're now up to 7 unique arts of Blood Moon. So one more and we'll be able to have a mirror match, a Blood Moon mirror match, which with every single one of them being
Although
unique.
it doesn't matter how you try, the worst Blood Moon will remain the white border one.
It is pretty
8th
disgusting.
edition, 9th edition.
Yeah.
When you like have mono dual lands and you put in place an 8th edition Blood Moon, you're like,
It's even, that's why people do it. It's not only just lock you out of your mana, but also to just tilt you off the face of the earth.
What type of Blood Moon do you play, Luis?
I like the ones from the dark.
The dark? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of question is that? That's right.
See?
Look at that. We got another boomer out here alongside of her. Look at that.
Another
It's Jim
boomer.
Sharkey from New Jersey, everyone. One of the architects of the Eternal Weekend. Let's hear it for Jim Sharkey over here.
Eternal.
A pillar of the community out there, out east, I understand, and a stand-up guy as well. He doesn't get a secret lair for it, though.
That's just because you're too intimidated to throw it now.
No, that's because we're very good friends, and I don't want to be accused of nepotism bribery. Sharky, I'll get you later, man. Don't worry about it. Whatever's left over, we'll see how it goes. Anyway.
Are we going to see the famous Fairy Mastermind activation here?
It does look like it. He's got it set up.
It doesn't happen very often.
No. It's pretty sweet when it happens, though.
Yeah. Man, imagine how does Utah feel that, is a card that he's designed is in the top 4 at Worlds. Like,
So cool, right?
yeah.
Helping someone else potentially on their way to a world's victory. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be crazy.
There's
Oh,
two of
another
them.
one.
Oh,
wow,
he's definitely going to activate it.
Oh boy.
In response to the Mosswood
Yeah.
Knight.
Just to draw 2 cards.
So you draw 2 cards? Nah, it's
boy,
over.
wow, yeah, so
Yeah, that's it.
The Mosswood Knight sent off on an adventure, and Yuta's like, yeah, sure, I'll get in on that. Let's go on an adventure of our own.
Yeah, I mean, when that happens, like drawing 2 extra cards in the middle of the game, just like that is pretty crazy. Ooh, that's the
Sentinel of the Lost.
what's the word? Sentinel of the Lost Lore. So Anthony can pick up back the Mosswood and recast it without Jean de Manois to drawing cards now because Anthony already drew his 2nd card for turn. But he's losing life, so...
And the game.
And the game, yeah.
So that's one of those scientific one-offs that we were talking about. Got the best creature type in the world, of course, in Knight. And a pretty significant... Like, the ability is kind of pretty parasitic, right? Like, it's not universally useful. But in this deck, it's going to be pretty good, obviously, with the Mosswood Dread Knight. But a 3-mana 3/4, decent set of stats for something that's going to get you a bit of advantage.
Mono Red is a playable deck,
Sure.
and a 3/4 for 3 is no joke. Just stats based, and then you can sometimes like tuck. Okay, that could be anything.
It's a Thalia.
That's a Thalia.
It's Italia,
It's a
okay.
Thalia, yeah. Yep. It could be.
Could be anything. Could be anything. Like,
I will say though, like in my career as a broadcaster, there have been a couple of times where, especially in limited events and limited GPs, you would have to do some really quick like scryfall searches if you didn't know the name of a card, right?
Yeah.
So they would tap 4 lands, right? And you'd see it was a white card. So you quickly go scryfall, mana value 4, color white, right? And then you go through and be like, okay, well, it wouldn't make sense for this one. It's probably this one, right? And you have a go at it. Or like they attack with it, the other person takes 3 damage.
See?
Use
See?
that.
It's Doombladed.
yeah.
Shieldred just gets hit by a gopher to throw it.
Dice to removal. How can you play a card that just dies to removal
Yeah.
like that? You know?
Terrible.
That-
Unplayable.
That can't be played.
Straight in the garbage.
Okay,
All right.
so Anthony goes down to 1 here. But Anthony can, in theory, gain some life with a cottage.
Has he got any? He doesn't have any food at the moment,
Whoa.
right? Uh-oh.
Not anymore.
Uh-oh.
What if you have- what if you have-
That's it. Game number 1 going to Jean-Emmanuel Deprat.
Well, if you have a Skrelv to protect your Shieldred, then it's very good. I can give you that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, the player shuffled so quickly back already.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. This is one of the greatest innovations I think that we've had in Magic broadcasting for a long time. Not only because it speeds up the broadcast, but it also means that we don't have 7 a.m. call times for the 9 a.m. start broadcast.
You know, sometimes like when I watch coverage at home and I forget that they're speed running,
Yeah.
I just, first game finishes, you take your break, you go, do something else, and you come back and you expect them to just be still shuffling.
Yeah.
And they're just turning 8 or something. So.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. So for those of you who don't know, what has changed with Pro Tour broadcasting recently is the matches start at 9, but the broadcast will start at like 10:30 or 11. And they record the matches, put them in into the editing suite, cut out all of the shuffling and the mulliganing and everything else. So it means we don't have to sit there like Marshall or me or Ailey, not sitting there being like, and the 14th card in the sideboard is, let's talk about this one for 5 minutes, just desperately trying to fill time. And it means we have a much quicker, much more dynamic show, and it means we show more Magic overall because we can get to those 3rd, 4th tables in the feature match area. So it's amazing. Honestly, it's changed the game.
Definitely.
For sure.
Really good. Oh, let's hear it for video editing.
Yeah.
Let's go, Anthony.
Let's
you
go.
said that. There we go. Over here.
Do I have to go?
Boosties. Let's go.
I wanted to relax, but that's okay. Just because you rooted for Anthony.
I can be bought.
Woo! Was it? Oh, it's true? Sorry.
All right. This is great here for Anthony as we see. Yeah, this is perfect, right? Getting rid of the Thalia and then the Liliana onto an empty board.
Yeah,
Luis. That's exactly what you want to do.
Lily on an empty board, very strong.
Very, very strong indeed. How worried is JED about having to discard cards to the tick up for Liliana? Because a well-designed Jund-style deck will be able to discard cards without it being too bad. How does it affect JED?
It's not actually the worst, like just discarding cards, but the fact that it builds Lily to eat a second creature means it's going to be pretty annoying if he can't play something that's going to attack Liliana this turn. Because getting 2 creatures eaten by Liliana is a pretty big setback. And so you see Virtue of Persistence is in the Adventure Zone, right?
Yeah.
So I remember we used to play that card. It was called Debtor's Knell. It was the 7-mana side of Virtue of Persistence without the fact that there was also the 2-mana kill a creature, gain 2 life side. It's just pretty ridiculous because actually both those cards got played in the same deck. Last Gasp, which was 2 mana -3/3, and Debtor's Knell. And they just like combine them into one card.
They just put them together.
Put that card in your deck now.
And so if you're discarding cards to your Liliana, eventually you'll get to 7 mana, you play the Virtue of Persistence, and those cards that you discarded, you can get some value out of them by bringing them back.
Well, of course, you need some card advantage in the meanwhile. That's what like the Mosswood Knight helps for. But yeah, without like Lingering Souls, that was like something that you used to do in the past. Liliana +1, discard Lingering Souls, flashback, or I don't know, Think Twice, maybe. That too, they were in the same format, Liliana and Think Twice.
What a card.
What is that?
What's this? Could be anything.
What's that card?
Isn't that Urtai again?
Yeah, it's indeed another Urtai.
Another Urtai.
That can attack Liliana.
And this is the way that you pressure a Planeswalker here. You can't play a haste creature in an Esper deck like this, so you play a flash threat that gets around a lot of removal. And yeah, this is going to deal with that at Liliana quite tidily. So JED's sort of out of hot water there.
Yeah, that was a very good sequence for JED for sure.
Yeah, I love how they printed Liliana, and then the next set they printed Obstinate Baloth. Just in case Liliana was too good, they wanted to have the medicine there, but there was no risk. Liliana it's fine. As you can see, like Edict plus your opponent needs to have other creatures and etc.
And the last time we had Liliana, we didn't have Obstinate Baloth, but remember we had Loxodon Smiter, which would come down and again, like the Baloth, hit for 4. So Liliana, tick up,
clean answer.
Play. See you later.
Yeah, it was.
Urtai being joined by Rona here.
The Blossoming Tortoise.
Ooh, there it is. So this is a 4-mana 3/3 that when it comes into play, you mill 3 cards, and then you can reanimate a land. Get a land back from the graveyard, and that is something.
Into play.
Yeah, into play, and that is a very powerful effect on a 3/3 that also discounts your Cottage and your Mishra's Foundry. This is, I think, like
it also does it whenever it attacks too.
What's that?
Yeah, whenever it attacks too. So it's it's just stacking up value.
Keeps on doing card advantage. It doesn't have the biggest stats, so likely going to die. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot of card advantage for a 4-mana card.
Well, the green creatures that get us lands into the battlefield, like the Wood Elves, right? They're always pretty puny. Like they're 3-mana 1/1s or 4-mana 2/2s. So a 4-mana 3/3 that has is a recursive or like a sustainable ability to keep bringing back lands. That's.
I mean, it's a mythic rare, right? They gotta make. They gotta get some good stats. Speaking of good stats, here's Rafine, 3-mana 1/4. Whenever you attack, you connive. This is incredible. Like this card is so powerful, and it's basically like the core of all these like Esper creature decks.
Yes.
There in this world, we also saw Esper Control.
Yeah.
So the Esper colors very pushed in both aggro, mid-range, and control.
But because of Beanstalk, Bant is getting a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
That card's sweet.
Yeah, up the Beanstalk from the other top 8 world competitor, Greg Orange, that got defeated by Jean Emmanuel. So you could say that maybe the matchup isn't. But anyway, the game seems very close. It's all about if Anthony has answers for these creatures. Like, and also the Tortoise here is ramping up to the Virtue.
The Virtue.
Yeah. I guess the Virtue comes down, you see the shoulder. Anthony is setting the creatures aside there in the graveyard.
Yeah, for our convenience, he's sort of showing us what's actually on the menu here if this Virtue comes down. And that's his 6th land as well. JD is going to have a quick read of the Blossoming Tortoise.
Riley, do you remember doing coverage when there was Delirium? And you'd be trying to figure out how much does Emrakul cost right now?
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, because there was Delirium in the sense that we would, because that was either, that was kind of on or off, right? Like they had Delirium or they didn't. But then Emrakul was like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
we're getting into the Tarmogoyf territory, like, how many? Yeah.
Do you remember PT Emrakul when we all showed up with Bent Company, which wasn't very good?
Yeah.
And other teams showed up with Emrakul, which was very good. Yet you somehow torpedoed with Bent Company.
I mean, I'll be honest, it was just play skill, so.
Yeah.
So look, the Rafine here actually finished off. That was nicely disguised by Anthony. Of course you attack with the turtle. It's free, right? You get a land, whatever, it's just like that. But no, then a block that makes a lot of sense to do. I don't think we're going to throw too much shade on JD for blocking there, but it gets finished off.
Yeah, but he was at 20 life. Maybe, 3 damage doesn't change too much.
You think you take it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see that. Maybe he has another Rafine now. Looks like it. Yes.
Could be
it
anything.
seems like a different card, but I believe it's the same
Could be
one.
anything.
Yeah.
It could be anything, but I believe it's a Rafine.
It was definitely a Rafine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rafine, again, coming down and conniving. So maybe not too worried about having lost that Rafine there.
If I was playtesting here, I would bring back the Rafine that died and just exchange it with...
Which Rafine is in your cube, though?
I don't have Rafine in my cube. Do you?
No.
No, yeah.
But which would be in your cube?
So I like foils, but I like the regular art foil. Sometimes I like borderless foil, but I don't like that thing. Yeah.
You like it to be just a little bit fancy, not too fancy.
Exactly.
Not too fancy.
I'm fine with foil extended art, but not just different everything,
So the connive trigger here, the counters are going to go on the Urtai. So Rona and Urtai getting in for a whole bunch. Anthony with no blockers down to 9, but he's on 6 lands. If he's got an untapped land here, we could start to see Virtue. Although he doesn't get any value off until it's just a 7-mana do nothing until his next upkeep, right?
Yeah, Anthony can't really afford to just tap out for Virtue here.
No. There is how many Otawaras are in? Wow, 3 Otawara.
It's got a lot of Otawaras. Yeah.
If you tap 7, do nothing, your opponent Otawara sent the turn for 1 mana. I think it's game over. So I don't know if Anthony wants to do that. We'll see. He has a bunch of cards in hand. Ooh, I just noticed. That's my face right there under the World Championship banner.
Oh, it is. Look up there on the top
right hand corner. That's a young Mango right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you tell who the other person is?
I would say it's Javier.
I think that's Paula.
I think it's PV, right?
PV?
I think it's PV.
You remember PV, right? Hall of Famer.
We're going in for a closer inspection.
Oh, it is.
It's PV, I think.
Yeah, I don't
used to play at Pro Tours. World champion.
Well, next Pro Tour I'm sure is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I tried to. I messaged him this weekend. I'm like, you should come to the next Pro Tour.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, JD, having to think about this. He's pretty close to picking up a win here on 20 life. A really well-developed board. We're going to see another connive trigger here. Jeez, Rafine's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Just making sure you've always got business.
So what happened there? Did Jean-Emmanuel, did Anthony attempt to attack with the Blossoming Tortoise and Anthony bounced it with Otawara and Anthony replayed the Tortoise? Looks like that's what happened.
Yeah, there was an Otawara in the bin there, I think. Oh, bounced Shieldred.
Oh, it bounced Shieldred. Thank you.
Shieldred, okay.
We were too focused to look at very relevant thing for this commentary that we missed.
You're too busy looking at the picture of yourself in the top right-hand corner, man.
I mean, I love to look at pictures of myself.
Yeah, of course you do. Oh dear.
All right, what's happening here? Does the Tortoise have to chum block? Oh no. Oh no.
Tortoise jumps in front of the Earth
That's
time.
a tough spot.
Let's see if there's any damnation in Anthony's deck.
I don't think so. He has Rankle
Gix's command.
Gix's command could do something here.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, what's this? Should be anything.
It's the foil alternative art, alternative everything, Shieldred.
Shieldred. All right, well, you knew that one.
You can get one in some of these collector booster new Pereksha.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's go. I'm bringing in some.
Magic players only want one thing.
What do you guys prefer more, collector boosters or secret layers anything?
All right, who wants-
I'll do half and half. I didn't understand the answer.
Keep everyone happy. All right, so that's game number 2. Things going very, very well here.
I'll go in the back. I'll go in the back.
Thank you so much.
And is that, do my eyes deceive me? Or, my friends, are we in the company of another Magic celebrity up the back there? Is that CGB?
I don't know.
It's covered go blue, everyone. Oh, he's incognito. Oh, wait, no. You're less, dude, you're so much less incognito when the glasses go on. CGB, everyone. Woo! Very famous Magic YouTuber, of course, up the back. Howie, man, good to see you, dude. All right, so Anthony here, on the ropes.
He's been there before, today.
Yes, the reverse sweep, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's true. Anthony was 0-2 against Reed.
Yeah.
And rattled back to a 3-2.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of mental strength.
It can be done.
Takes a lot of mental strength to go 0-2 into 3-2. Like, yeah.
Let's hope you can get there. Because,
Have you ever been in that spot?
The first Pro Tour I top 8'd, I started 0-2, and I won the Pro Tour.
Where was it?
Berlin.
Berlin?
Yeah,
With
playing
elves.
elves. Playing against Kenny Oberg, the Tesserator.
The Tesserator, yeah.
Yes.
0-2 and then just didn't lose.
Was that the
But that's how you do
quarterfinals?
it.
That was the quarters, yeah.
And then you go 3-0, 3-0 in top 4
No,
and
I
final?
went to 5 games against Saito, and then I beat Matej Zadokai in the
Matej
finals
Zadokai.
really badly, though.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the oldest, when I started to follow a little bit of Magic, 2008, 2009, yeah, it's cool.
I came along in 2012, I remember. So my friends bought me it was a Scars Mirror. It was the Psychosis Crawler intro deck, right?
Sure.
So it was like you know what the intro decks are like. They're not great. But it was blue-black, and I kept adding cards that I thought were cool until it was like 80 cards big. And then I got told by someone at the LGS that I should really only stick to 60. So I split it into two decks, the blue deck and the black deck, and then they grew from there. But I remember the first ever Pro Tour I watched while I was playing with these like garbage 67-card kitchen table ones was Pro Tour Avison Restored when Alexander Hayne won the Pro Tour. And I just assumed because he'd won the Pro Tour that he was like unquestionably like a Michael Jordan like best player in the world of all time ever. And then 5 minutes later, he was getting the Rookie of the Year award or something. And I was like, oh, okay, this doesn't quite make sense. But yeah, he's always had he's always, for me, been one of my favorite pros just because he was one of the people who introduced me in some way to competitive Magic, right? And, we've all got our own different origin stories. You saying you started, what, in 2008, watching pros and that sort of stuff. And then, Luis, you've been around for a lot longer.
Were you a kid at some point also watching?
Yes.
So who was it that you were watching? Was it Finkel and Buddha?
Yeah, I remember watching Finkel and Kai. I actually remember going to my first Pro Tour in San Diego and being like, that's Kai, Dirk, and Marco. Like, that's awesome. Like, I read about these guys.
Who was Marco?
Yeah.
Marco Bloom. That was the Phoenix Foundation. That was their team.
Yeah, exactly. The team.
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience to that when I went to my first World Magic Cup because I went there and I went, oh my goodness, that's LSV.
There we go.
You signed my LS Norn, dude. I've still got it. I've still got it. My LSV.
Yeah, there we go.
LSV, right? I remember.
I got, I fanboyed so hard. I was so unapologetic. I had Marshall sign Limited Resources. I had Josh Adelaide sign Sensei's Divining Top. Tom Martell signed my Lingering Souls. Elish Norn for you. So I went around collecting signatures like there was no tomorrow because I didn't think there was going to be. I spiked into the WMC and I was like, this is going to be it. I'm just going to go back home, get a full-time job.
When was that?
2013? Yeah. We came in the top 19? It doesn't matter exactly.
Which place?
I love when
Top
people say top 19.
Top 19.
It's the best.
Top 19. Top 19, dude. That was great. Won a pile of money. Had a great time. Met all sorts of famous people, and had the time of my life. And here I am now. My goodness me, how did it happen? Anyway, game number 3 now. JED against Anthony Lee.
Yeah, we see a pretty brutal sequence from Jean-Emmanuel, who kills Glissa on the draw with a go for the throat, untaps and plays a wedding announcement. This is definitely a great 2-3 punch.
Glissa's such a good card, and
Upkeep stop?
hasn't. All right, we're seeing a Shieldred here.
Seems like he's,
Ooh. See, this is a strategic advice that I want to give to the viewers here. Most people just kill Shieldred in their upkeep when they have a go for the throat. But sometimes, like in a game like this, 2 damage probably doesn't matter. You might draw like a card that changes your plan. So you just want to, similarly to what happened with the Scarab God, where like you don't really want to reanimate
Look, it's 2 Shieldred.
the thing in upkeep and just take a draw instead and things like that. But we see the famous Shieldred versus Shieldred here. We talked about this before.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what this means. What's the dynamic of Shieldreds dueling off against each other for those who haven't sort of been in this position with Standard?
Where there's the active player, non-active player.
Uh-huh.
So a 20 life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They balance this out.
Yeah.
But if by any chance Anthony was at 2 life, he would have lost the game here.
Right, because of the way the triggers are stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I just kind of give it a random. I don't know if I was right or not. I never know that thing. You have to think so hard about this rule. All right, what just happened there?
It was virtual persistence plus cut down.
That is so cool.
And now the other Shieldred for Anthony is free to rumble.
Okay.
Look, Shieldred's going to make it a short game.
Yeah, Anthony only has 2 cards in hand. If Sean has that go for the throat in his hand, which it doesn't look like he has.
What's the plural?
I love that at least
He's got 3 copies.
Yeah.
yeah, in his hand. The Fastland are original printing. I like that.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I always notice that. But he still is losing too many points from all the different versions of each card. So
Yeah. That wedding announcement could be anything with a dice on it. All right, what do we see here?
did you talk to Anthony throughout the tournament? How many times did he cast Virtual Persistence? Do you think he ever cast it?
Well, yeah, I mean, my teammates for this tournament, Team Worldly Council, they played Rakdos Reanimator, and they had the Virtue. Also, they had like a track sign, a bunch of things like that. So it was kind of like a good plan for them to just cast the Virtue and, you know, maybe like blood away the Atraxa with the Harvester and reanimate it. It was cool.
Another Shieldred here.
All right, this is exactly a dream gameplay for Luis Scott-Vargas.
Yeah,
Right?
Shieldred into Shieldred into
Just
Shieldred.
such a great card right there. Ooh, okay, this is a glorious anthem for Jean Emmanuel, who now has a 5/6 Shieldred,
Slightly better than the 4/5.
so now can kill Shieldred in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flip wedding announcement makes a big difference on this board with these dueling Shieldreds here. So now Anthony has to find something to get himself back in this game, because otherwise he's sorely outclassed at the moment when it comes to Shieldreds.
Well, the odds that he has a good clean answer to Shieldred are pretty low, because last turn he went Virtue plus cut down. You wouldn't 2-for-1 yourself if you just had something easy.
And now he's just got the Tortoise.
Yeah, now get some of that value back with the Tortoise reanimating a land, and every land is important here because he wants to cast that 7-mana Virtue.
Yeah, you could cast the next turn.
Yeah. All
His
right.
life total, he's only on 12. So the pressure is going to start to mount here.
Now you want to stay back because those tokens are 2/2s. Like if you attack, and then Jean Manuel has like a bounce spell or whatever for the Tortoise, it could be a lot of damage. But we'll see. The Shieldred on Anthony's side is still holding. I think the main threat right now is that Virtue right there. Like this is the way this game could.
But does he have enough time?
Well,
I guess he can afford to start chumping because he's going to get value off the...
yeah, like, let's see, 5 mana. What's this? Ooh,
Ao. That's
Ao.
Ao the Dawn Sky. That's come out of the sideboard. 2 copies of the sideboard for here.
yeah,
for
this is a
JDD.
cyber card right here. Ao, I remember, it's very hard to die. Does Anthony have any ways to like cleanly 1-for-1 it? I see a Terra Sunder, which probably didn't bring it in.
He already milled it, so he did bring it in.
What's that?
He milled it with the Tortoise.
Oh, all right, then
I think he did bring it in, actually.
He brought it in.
Yeah.
All right, 7 mana.
There it is.
Virtue
There's
of
the Virtue.
Persistence.
Let's
But
see.
now, Anthony has to survive.
Once
in
again,
order
these
to
two
stay.
Shieldred are just bouncing each other. Nothing is happening. He never draws step. Just like your shortcut, the lose 2, gain 2 type of thing. All right, AO has flying, so that's 5 damage guaranteed.
And is there any? I don't think is there anything in the? Oh, there's the glisser, right?
Okay,
6 damage.
this is scary because to me this attack means, okay, I'm giving you a Shieldred in the graveyard for free if you block it.
Yeah.
But then maybe just Otawara, the Virtue in hand, is just such a blowout.
That's a
blowout.
disaster.
And maybe like another.
Well, there is already a Shieldred in the graveyard too.
Yeah.
So
We'll see what happens
lots,
here.
Lots of Shieldreds.
So what are the creatures in the graveyard that can be brought back from the persistence? There's the Shieldred. There's also a glisser, right?
That got go for a third earlier.
Yeah, from
Well,
earlier.
there's no Shieldreds anymore in play. There's 3 in graveyards now.
And then hopefully have like counterspell back.
Okay,
I think the Virtue is going to start doing stuff here.
yeah, this is a lot of damage. Let's see. Danik, ooh,
Oh, that stops the Virtue, right?
he knocked off my token there.
Oh no, it's still there. We can still see it. It's okay.
No, because I was reminding Anthony to reanimate a creature,
Oh,
now-
right. You were on the deck.
but now no more.
Outside assistance.
No,
Disqualification. Mengu. So does Danik lock the graveyards down from the Virtue? It's target card to
Things can't
graveyard.
get targeted.
Next turn.
yeah,
With the buff.
yeah. Despite the card, maybe you can't really read it from the real card. It's on the corner there, on the left.
That's bad news for Anthony here. Tapped out last turn for something that doesn't do a whole lot.
Okay, let's see if
now.
there's a Fairy Mastermind.
Going down to 6
That'd be sick.
with Dread Whispers.
And here's the Mosswood Dread Knight, the adventure version of that.
Desperation time.
Come on, Anthony.
Let's go, Anthony. Come on, mate. Dig in deep. Do it for Perth, I guess. I don't know. Do it for Australia.
For all the Perthlings that are watching from
All the
here.
Perthlings that are watching here. Oh, yeah, so many of us.
Can he find a way to clear this board?
Oh, dear.
Otherwise, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat is going to be our second finalist.
Deep in
Strange
the-
players, Perth. Filled with strange people. But when one of them's on the big stage, we get behind him no matter what. He's a red-blooded Australian, Anthony Lee, and I won't hear a bad word said against you. But I would love
Did
for
you
him to-
understand what he said?
No, not at all.
Okay, I thought it was a microphone problem.
But I've done a lot of coverage with Riley. You know, it's just vibes. You don't need to
Yeah,
understand
he
what
says things like, you nod usually, right?
Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Yeah, you're all right. All right, what's he going to do here? Come on, mate. Got to find something. He's only got a couple of cards in hand. Okay, plays the Dread Knights
No, just passes
and
back.
passes back. This is not good news. Not good news for us. Mengu.
No good news, no. Boom. 6 damage. That's lethal.
Oh, there it is. Anthony Lee bows out for Jean-Emmanuel Duprat from France
Jean-Emmanuel Duprat.
in the World Championship final, playing off against Kazuki Kasaka.
And 2-3-0s, like
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
They wanted to get us out very
Vegas
quickly.
is a great town. They wanted to enjoy the.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're paid by the hour. And
You know what we have,
LSP's
though?
Raiders.
You know what we have?
What do we have?
We have a lot. We actually have a lot of packs here.
Let's go.
So, all right.
Luis.
All right. You're taking the right wing. I take the left wing.
All right, that works. That works.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Ooh, look at this. This is a box stopper loader ring. Open it. I want to see what it is.
And
I'm unboxing live.
cheers.
Oh, live unboxing here. Mengu's watching a one-person
box-
stream for
a
a live
box-
unboxing. Andrea
What's
Mengucci.
that?
What do we got?
Castle Iron.
What do we got, Mengu?
Could have been better. Could have been better.
It's good. It's good.
His mic's been cut. What do we get? All right. Our little Father Christmas is running around. Let's go. So, Luis,
Yes, sir.
in the final, JED from France, someone who
Maybe a
is really,
damage secret lair, I
no
don't
one's
know.
questioning this guy, his chops, his skill, but this almost feels like a moment for him where he could be
Hey.
moving
Hello.
up an echelon of in terms of his career, right? He's a very high-tier player,
Definitely.
but a world's title after the very consistent run that he's had for many years. This could be the beginning of a new chapter in his career as a Magic player, as one of
Anthony!
See, it's funny. On
You
the one
already
hand,
ran all the way so fast.
one match here. Does that change who Jean-Emmanuel is?
Anthony, do you want
Does
a
that
pack?
change how good he is? Not really, no. But being a world champion,
Yeah.
that does matter.
It does matter.
Like, it's kind of silly in some ways to think there's such a big difference between first and second, but that's just how we are.
Yeah.
That's what humans are, and there is a big difference. So yeah, if he becomes world champion, people are going to think about him in a different light.
Yeah, for sure. And I think given the career that he's had so far, the consistency in the way that he's played for the last 5 to 8 years, a world championship would put him in a different conversation, I think. And look, I'm not saying he's going to all of a sudden become an all-timer, but it definitely, I think, moves him up the rankings in terms of just his position in the overall
maybe if
world.
one day just Wizards decides to bring back the Hall of Fame, which it's crazy to think about, doing such thing. Maybe if one day comes back, Jean-Emmanuel could definitely be one of the people in contention for that.
Yeah, if this sort of
award
thing continues, and if his world, well, look, if he wins worlds here, first let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is all speaking the hypothetical, because his opponent here is Kazuna Kasaka, who is going to be a formidable opponent indeed. Now, we're not going to talk too much about this matchup. It is an Esper. I don't want to say mirror because it's not. There is some crossover, but we've got Esper mid-range, Esper Legends on either side of the table here. But we're actually going to give Marnie and Maria at the desk the chance to set it up for our audience here. We'll go off and take a quick break while when we come back to the desk here. But before we get into the match analysis from these two, just off the top, who are we favouring? Luis, I'll start with you.
Jean-Emmanuel.
Yeah. Is it the play, the deck, the?
It's just based on the fact that he's just an elite player, and Kazuna is a great player too. You're in the finals of Worlds, you can't be bad.
Yeah.
But I got to give it to the MPL member who's put up consistent results for the last 5 years.
How are you feeling about it, Minka?
I'm gonna go with Kazune. I think the Esper mid-range is actually favored over Esper Legends. So, despite Jean-Emmanuel is the most accomplished player, I think the matchup favors Kazune.
We weren't supposed to talk about the matchups. Just your gut.
All right.
Well, look, the mid-range deck does have it's much more interactive. It doesn't have that curve-out potential, but it does have a lot of disruption that could be difficult for Depra to play through. But then, if Esper Legends gets the right draw, there's really not much that can be done about it, no matter what's in your hand. So, an interesting matchup for sure. I'm glad that we've got sort of two sides of a different coin, two different Rafine decks here going at it, showcasing this card's power and potential in Standard, and of course, on one side of the battlefield anyway, we've got Sheldred as well, which is almost the undisputed queen of Standard at this stage.
Luis' favorite card.
Yeah, my favorite card, apparently.
Yeah, Luis's favorite card. Yeah, if you were to win Worlds, your Worlds
they already made it.
card
Sheldred,
would just put your face on Sheldred.
Luis, important question. Which Sheldred do you own in real life?
Just the normal version.
Oh, okay. I'll accept.
Yeah.
Not the.
I actually have the one with the demon.
Oh.
It's the normal one. It's not like this big worm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer the demon.
I feel like it's more like a spider.
It's like this. I don't know. It feels like the worm card with the retrace. You remember?
Oh, Raven's Crime?
No, the other one. The mix of worms.
Oh, Worm Harvest.
Oh,
Worms Harvest.
Something
Yeah.
Harvest. What was it called?
What's that?
What harvest?
Worm Harvest.
Oh, just we're harvesting worms.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yep, you plant worm seeds and then you harvest them.
Everyone's me like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We will see. We're going to head back to the desk and listen to Marnie and Maria chat about this matchup in just over a minute here. But it's been a hell of a tournament. The World Championship. The top 8 was what you'd expect it to be at for an event of this caliber. Our Player of the Year has been decided. Simon Nielsen made Player of the Year. So he's done very well. Speaking of someone who has, as you mentioned before, been on a tear, this guy, Simon Nielsen, what's next for him? He can't be stopped.
Yeah, he has done great, but he still hasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, won a title.
Yeah,
so maybe that is what...
Well, he just won Player of the Year.
Yeah, no, I meant, sorry. Yeah, I guess I meant PTs or like that's what it's next.
Yeah.
As always, Mengu, I knew what you meant and I made the comment anyway.
Right. Luis, have you ever won the Player of the Year?
I have not.
All right.
So put that on the list.
Look, I've also thought you could be an all-time great.
I would normally say one day, but
Oh dear. All right, so I think we're going to get out of here we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Let Marty and Maria have a chat about this. Assuming that we're going back to the desk after this countdown, I think we'll use the opportunity to refresh ourselves a little bit and let the desk team talk about what's going on.
Ooh, I was there
last
yesterday.
night, right? The slumber
was
party.
there.
Who was here for the slumber party last night with Wood and Wisdom? A couple of people hung out and enjoyed the jams with Elijah and Zach. I imagine
Yeah,
it was a pretty
they
good
give
time.
you a collector booster for showing up.
Did you?
Yeah, I got
Wow.
it.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
Nice. You get a collector boost for showing up there, get a collector boost for showing up here.
Yeah, see?
All right. Oh, there we go. And the cosplay contest yesterday, that was so sick as well. I got the chance to hang out with some of the cosplayers, Sir Ginger and the like. My goodness, we had quite a weekend here. All right, let's get out of here, boys. We'll be back in a few minutes, everyone. Give the chance for Marty and Maria to have a chat about things, and we'll see you after the match has been previewed for the final of the World Championship.
Finals, John Emmanuel Duprat on Esper Legends versus Kazuna Kasaka on Esper Midrange. Your thoughts on how this has shaken out so far, Monty?
I mean, we had a really exciting day. We had 7 different countries coming into the top 8, and we had a lot of very talented players, back and forth games, but ultimately, we are seeing the Esper decks that were at the top of the metagame
That's true.
rise to the top and meet here in the finals, and in the hands of 2 very competent players who have had excellent years.
Absolutely. So the finals coming up in just a minute. But first, we've been reviewing our entire season here of Magic the Gathering Pro Level Play. And next up is Pro Tour The Lord of the Rings. Let's take a look at the metagame from that tournament and relive some of those biggest moments, Monty.
Yeah, Pro Tour The Lord of the Rings, where we were playing Modern, our Modern Pro Tour for the year. And as the trend had continued all year, once again, there is another Rakdos deck at the top of the field. This time it was Rakdos Evoke leading the field. But then things got varied. 4-color Omnath, Rhinos, and Mono Green Tron being one of the, not breakout decks of the tournament, but certainly overperforming in terms of the tournament and leading into our top 8. And what a top 8 it was, Maria.
Yeah, let's take a look at our top 8 bracket from Pro Tour The Lord of the Rings. Remember this, everybody? Jake Beardsley coming out on top with Rakdos Evoke, Monty.
Yeah, we had some back-to-backs, Javier Dominguez and Simon Nielsen making those back-to-back top 8s that really vaulted them into that Player of the Year race. Christian Calcano going all the way to the finals. Kai Buddha getting another Pro Tour top 8 added to his career. And in Barcelona, no less. But ultimately, Jake Beardsley had the miracle weekend. It was his birthday. It was his first Pro Tour. And he went all the way, Maria.
Yeah, it was just incredible. You know, we're not just going to talk about it. Here, take a look. Why don't you watch it?
Beardsley with the Fury. I don't think he has the turn back, and I don't think he does either, partner. And Christian Calcano will extend the hand. Jake Beardsley is your Pro Tour, the Lord of the Rings champion.
And there remains nothing more for us to do than congratulate our Pro Tour champion, Jake Beardsley. Put your hands together for the Pro Tour, the Lord of the Rings champion, Jake Beardsley.
Monty, can you imagine? I mean, what must that have felt like winning your first Pro Tour?
Hey, I mean, it's incredible. It's every person's dream when you're thinking about playing professional Magic at any point. It's, okay, step 1, I qualify for the Pro Tour. And step 2, maybe you allow yourself to start thinking about it. You shouldn't. You should be just thinking about enjoying your experience while there. But, you know, the intrusive thoughts start coming in. What if I just start winning? And what if I just keep winning? What if I win the whole thing? And then you dream about it and you think about it, and then you get there and you 0-3 the draft, and you're like, all right, back to reality. Maybe I'll try again the next time. But for Jake Beardsley, he got the job done.
Yeah, lived the dream. What an incredible moment. Well, for fans of Secret Lairs out there, great news. There's a little over a week remaining left to shop the Fall Super Drop. You can do so over at secretlair.wizards.com. Don't miss out. Shop the Super Drop today. Well, everybody, here at World Championship 29, it is now time for the finals. It all comes down to this. Let's meet our players and find out who will be watching do battle. It's Jean-Emmanuel Duprat versus Kazuna Kasaka, Esper Legends versus Esper Midrange. Jean-Emmanuel Duprat, no stranger to the finals of a World Championship, came in second at World Championship XXVII. Can he do one better today? We'll soon find out. Only lost once on day 2 of competition, went 5-3 overall in standard to make it here to our top 8 today. Kazuna Kasaka, let's take a look at his road to the top 8 here. Went 7-1 in standard, lost round 1 of day 2, and then proceeded to not lose ever again to make it here to our top 8. Those are our players, but what about the decks, Monty?
All right, well, we're going to start by taking a look at Jean-Emmanuel's Esper Legends deck. This was the 3rd most played deck in the field, and it was maybe a deck that has fallen a bit out of favor in favor of the Esper midrange deck, but it is still extremely powerful, and Rafine Scheming Seer is, of course, the all-star of this deck, as it is every Esper-based strategy. This is the reason to play the colors. The 3-mana legend just does it all. It flies, it has protection, it grows your other creatures, and it gives you card selection. It really does feel like it does everything. In this deck specifically, it is more powerful, backed up by protection in the form of Skrelv and Plaza of Heroes. Skrelv also protects your Thalia, it protects your Shieldred. It goes such a long way in feeling like it is burying your opponent under this mounting pressure of the legendary creature force. On the other side, Kazuna is bringing the most played deck of the field in the Esper mid-range deck. There was a lot of talk from players coming into the weekend that maybe Esper Legends is a bit one-dimensional. Maybe I want a more varied strategy. Maybe I want access to better interaction that playing a card like Thalia and Plaza of Heroes doesn't allow me to play. So now we get access to Virtue of Loyalty. We get access to the Wandering Emperor. Yes, those Rafines are still there. Yes, those Shielders are still there. But now you have Make Disappears and Go for the Throats and Wedding Announcements. And all of that can help you interact more with what your opponents are doing, which just really makes this Esper midrange deck a nightmare to deal with.
All right, there's a look at the players and the decks. Mani, what should we be watching out for at home?
Well, Maria, for me, the story of this finals is really a deja vu, because I feel like I saw this before 2 years ago.
Yes.
I feel like we have seen Jean-Emmanuel Duprat with a deck that feels like it is from the past in the finals of the World Championship against a Japanese player. It happened 2 years ago in World Championship XXVII when he ultimately lost to Yuta Takahashi on that Is It Dragons deck. He did it his way on Temur Treasures then. It didn't work out. He is back, and for me, the moment would be him one-upping that performance and getting the job done this year.
All right, well, let's find out what's going to happen. It's time to crown a champion. I'm going to send it on over to Marshall and Paul here at World Championship 29.
Thank you, Maria, and welcome back to the booth here at the World Championship. That's Paul Chiano, Marshall Cycler. Thank you so much for joining us. Boy, do we have a final setup for you here. This is kind of the classic, too, right? We've got Jean-Emmanuel Duprat.
Jokes, we
He's
are
been
back here live on our main stage for the World Championship Finals. Let's get after it.
Do I sit down?
You can sit down, you can stand up, you can do whatever you like.
Do I sit down or do I go around?
Go around. He's going to come around. Here we go. Andrea Mengucci, Luis Scott-Vargas, Riley Knight here as we get underway with our final. Jean-Emmanuel Duprat and Kazuna Kasaka. We've just had the matchup previewed for you by our expert team at the desk. What about us, they say. Oh, don't worry, Mengu will make sure everyone's looked after and taken care of here as our two players make their way out onto the stage. And in the background, I'm not sure if many of you have seen and recognized someone who does an invaluable and very important service for the Magic community every single day. Can you see that bloke sitting at the back of the table there, between the two players there? Do you know who that is? That's Robert Taylor, Fire Shoes, everyone. He will be able to hear us cheer and hoot and holler from all the way over there. So let's hear it for Robert Taylor, Fire Shoes. Reposting deck lists like they're going out of style. All right, let's get into it, gentlemen. We're starting off here. Seachrome Coast into Skrell. Jean-Emmanuel Duprat on the play in this matchup. His deck, Luis, certainly the more aggressive one of these two, so he'll be very happy to be on the board. Look at this Denning curving out nicely.
Yeah, but I really don't know if we need to pay attention too much because Mengu said he was already going to lose. He guaranteed that Kazune was going to win.
100%. If you have a prediction on a matchup, that's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen. So what happens when two people have different predictions?
You need a third.
So it's going to be a draw.
You have to
tiebreaker.
Oh, man, I don't know. I think I'm going to side with what you said, Luis. I think here, given the fact that these decks are so close, I think experience, being able to compete at the highest level and a proven track record, I think I'm going for JED. But I will hedge my bets and say that I'm not going to be surprised if Kasaka wins as well, because obviously you have to have a huge strength, huge ability, huge level of skill to make it this far anyway. So could be either of them here.
I mean, and to be fair, Kazune also lost a win at the last Pro Tour. So
true. Yeah, we drew a win in.
You can see, Jean-Emmanuel making a very strange attack, which obviously means that he has a Ganjo in hand, I believe, attacking with a 2-3 into a 3-3, and Kazune does not block. Could have been a bluff.
He doesn't have a Ganjo.
He doesn't have?
No, he doesn't have it.
You see his hand?
No, he's got 4 lands and Resurrected.
There's cards now, yeah. Oh, he does have it, yeah. No, man, I changed his glasses like last year.
Already.
They should make the text a little bit bigger.
They need the large print version for Mengu. Like at the local library, they need the...
Next time to the production, we need a tablet.
In a couple months, you're entering a new decade of life. So you're getting...
What's that?
You're entering a new decade of life in a couple months.
Right. I need to change my glasses.
Yeah, Mengu turning 30 in a couple of months.
Woo!
Let's go. Welcome to the best decade of your life. Being in your 30s rules.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Not so much in the hair and knees department, but everywhere else.
The back pain.
Oh, the back pain's kicking in.
No.
You start getting these weird hairs growing out of your shoulders as well, just like one-offs. It's very strange.
Very little.
I don't know
what
that's about. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on here.
Well, Kazune played a very colorful card, which we experienced before. It's Rafine.
A Rafine, yeah. Could be anything, but it is, in fact, this time Rafine.
So this is going to be really interesting because Jean-Emmanuel bluffed or represented in a Ganjo. Look, Kazune is not attacking with Lord Skitter.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the downside of attacking with Dennick. If he didn't attack with Dennick, he might have attacked with it.
That's a great point.
I know, that's why I made it.
That's why we called... that's why we called Luis and not... So, I don't know. And so there's not that many. Wow, trading Otawara for a Virtue of Courage token there. Still surveilling. Not surveilling, sorry.
Conniving.
Yeah.
Conniving. Yeah. All right, one's going to come across here. Duprat at 21, Kasaka on 18. We'll see if he's able to continue to use his mana efficiently. Not the most efficient use of mana there with that Otawara, but still.
One of the problems of this Esper Legends deck is that it's a deck with like 1, 2, 3 drops mostly and plays 27 lands.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he has 17 Otawaras in this deck.
Yeah, surely like Otawara and a Ganjo are also spells.
But he has 2 Takenuma too. He has like a million of them.
Yeah, but like they're not very good spells.
They're not very good spells.
Like they help you if you're mana screwed, but now Jean-Emmanuel definitely isn't mana screwed.
And this is the problem. This is the problem that you run into when you don't have the Rafines and the Ronas and the other cards that let you. Having the 27 lands is great when you've got card selection because you can find the tools that you need, but a little bit of a liability here.
All right, so
there's the Ganjo.
A Ganjo comes out, and Kazune can also play his own Ganjo, but. A question, does Scrub protect from colorless as well?
Yeah, it can protect colorless, I believe.
So it could, he has a protection from a Ganjo right now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm not quite as confident as I may seem to be, but I decided to just go for it.
Yeah.
Right, well, here's Skrell.
So Giver of Runes for sure protects from colorless.
Yeah, and Mother of Runes for sure does not protect from colorless.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it does.
But
it says hexproof from the color from that color until end of turn. I don't think it works against colorless.
Choose a color. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
So against the
The Gonjo, it doesn't work.
yeah, or
delay it.
Wara or what have you. Yeah. Valakut. Get him.
Valakut.
Get him.
What card?
Valakut.
I like it.
I'm still playing Valakut in Modern. I have no shame.
Oh, Titan Shift is a great deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, I can't get.
Mengu loves Modern. Don't get him started.
Yeah. No, let's get into it. No, let's not get into it.
I do like
No, but
West Side Fridays, though.
yesterday, as I qualified to the PT, I asked a Twitter poll, be like, how many legs do I need for Wizards to change the format of the next PT to Modern?
Yeah.
Didn't they just announce it was standard right now?
Did they?
Huey went in and said that like all the tournaments are standard now.
Wow. Is that true? All right, at least it's not fighting. All right, never mind. All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, for those who missed it, Billy Huey Jensen was on the world stream earlier announcing a big shot in the arm for Standard from the local game store level all the way up to the Pro Tour level. They're bringing back the Standard Showdown with promo cards to go with it as well. The Store Championship, I think, is being revivified with Standard. Again, exclusive promos, all that sort of stuff as well. And then RC, PT.
And 100K too.
And no, I think it's 75.
Oh, 75.
So they're bringing back these sort of GP-like events. I think it's in Chicago. So for those of you who like Mengu played in the 100K Limited this weekend, if you want to cut your teeth in Standard at a high level, high prize, high pressure, high prestige event, 75K Standard tournament in Chicago.
Oh, so it's not going to be sealed, it's going to be Standard instead.
Standard as well. Yeah, Standard instead of Limited. So exciting. We do need to get Standard back on track, and getting people invested in the format with high prize levels, and of course the foundation at the LGS level. That's how it's going to get done. So it's good to see. It's good to see that they're listening to feedback and making some changes in R&D to make sure that the format is the best it can be.
Time to buy that playset of Shieldred if you were on the fence about it. You'll need it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
There's a Shieldred in play right now?
Is there? Yes, look at that. Different foil than the previous one. I can tell you that. And there's a Skrull to protect it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, but Kazuna's got Virtue of Loyalty and could play a second one this turn. That goes pretty big.
It's so awkward to go Rafine against Shieldred because you're forced to connive. It's not a May. So if Kazuna attacked with like three creatures, let's say, he had to take 6 damage. So he now is kind of like, he's just attacking with Rafine only to surveil less.
Is this a wedding announcement now? And
another virtue of...
A virtue here.
Oh, because end of turn, there is a trigger of the other virtue. So
tapping everything and putting +1/+1 counters.
Wow. It's a lot of power all of a sudden.
That's what this deck does. It just...
Is that a technical term?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's every language understands that.
Yes,
It's like a multilingual magic term.
Beautiful Knight token as well, this new one.
Yeah, we're seeing how the Lord Skater made those 2 rats. Wedding announcement is making those humans. Virtue is making that, just a lot of token makers and value from the Kazuna deck. Kind of love if I had to play this tournament, I would have played Esper midrange.
Yeah.
My friend Lorenzo Terlizzi top 8 Worlds with Esper midrange. I don't want to say I helped him because I wasn't really following too much, but I definitely played it a little bit against him. The deck looked very good, and it doesn't surprise me to see it in the final.
Well, these virtues are doing so much work here in addition to all the little token generators. The knights, the rats, the humans.
A virtuous cycle, if you will.
Virtue. I missed it. It's gone.
It's gone. It's too late.
Gone. I'm sorry. All right, we got one person who enjoyed it. And you know what? To an audience of one, that's all you need. Count it on the scoreboard. That's it.
All right.
On the other hand, Rafine and Shieldred the other way works too.
Yeah, Rafine plus Shieldred means that Sean gained 4 life, going up to 22. I didn't know. We had the life total hidden from here.
Yeah.
I thought it was lower. I don't know.
You gotta. I can see it like if I do that.
It's actually going to get a ton because the Denick is now going to get 2 counters.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, and with lifelink, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so basically the way Jean wants to win the game is just to end it quickly before the virtue take over. It's like he wants to, fly and deal damage with the shield red and etc.
Because that second virtue can come down next turn. Kasaka obviously already
This game
has
is
one after
difficult,
that.
by the way. Like,
Say again?
this game is very difficult. This is the classic, like, 2 big board state.
Yep.
You have to race. You have to just understand what's the threat. How, like, this type of game is why, like, Standard is, like, a very skill-intensive format.
Yeah, this is the sort of game
Standard
where threats, assessment, and management really comes into play. You know, you've got a card, go for the throat in hand. Where does it go? You've got a card, Otawara. What are you going after with it? Here, getting some great value with the Otawara, taking out both tokens after the double block.
Because we're used to maybe Mother of Runes and Giver of Runes, but Skrelv actually doesn't help you in combat.
Yes.
So the opponent double block Shield Red, Skrelv can't save that.
Yeah, whereas a Mother of Runes or a Giver of Runes.
Would.
Yeah,
so
useful in combat.
Jean add another 1 mana interaction with that Otawara.
Yep.
Let's see now. There's a go for the throat in end.
But
which is,
Skrelv is stopping that.
yeah, which is like completely dead right now because if Kazuna targets any creature that isn't Skrelv, gives it protection. And if he targets Skrelv,
then the judge will be
then you
called.
call the judge and you go for the throw back in end.
All right, Denik the draw here for Kasaka. Is that better than just slamming the second virtue?
Probably not, but he's going to decide whether he wants to, like, you know, get some cards off Rafine first or not.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that Rafine is pretty gargantuan as well. What is it, a 4/7?
Well, now is his opportunity, too, because JD's got Urtai in hand, but is tapped out. So if he doesn't do this now, it's going to be kind of hard.
Yeah, attacking also is not bad because you're going to untap the thing anyway end of turn.
Sure. Yeah, we've got like pseudo vigilance on a lot of on all of the creatures there. Yep.
A lot of these tournaments that we've seen throughout this year is.
Wow, I'm actually excited that they announced that the next beat is going to be Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, yeah, I don't play too much Standard, but whenever I watch games like this is cool. Like, it might look like too much going on, but whereas Modern maybe is like a little bit simple, let's say, like things happen in a way that you can follow and like the game is over quickly, whereas here it's like it's turn 6 and it's so complicated.
You really get into the weeds in a, in a standard format like this. Yeah.
It's fun. For like a Pro Tour format, it's fun, I feel.
Well, the funny thing about Modern as a Pro Tour format is that viewers love it and players hate it. Players don't want to have to fight, like, especially when Modern is wide open, there's 20 different decks. You've got 15 sideboard slots.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to hedge against the entire field.
Yeah, I mean, Modern is the most competitive, it's the most popular competitive format, so obviously viewers love it more.
Yeah, I love watching Modern.
But yeah, I feel like, you know, from a Pro Tour competitor player standpoint, maybe Luis, you can say, what do you think about this?
I honestly am happy playing whatever format generally.
Okay.
Like, as long as I get to draft, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. As long as they don't take away draft.
I will say I love playing Legacy at the Pro Tour. That was fun.
I did it one time. Did you play Legacy in that PT? Oh, you played Shadow.
I played Death Shadow. Yeah, it was great.
I played Colorless Eldrazi.
This is back when Raptor still existed, and he built us a really good deck.
Raptor, yeah, you guys, how did you do?
We lost
top 4. Did you top 4?
Playing for top 4 like 2 rounds before.
Who was in your team?
It was me, Paulo, and Siggy.
Jeez, a hero. Imagine
you remember
sitting
Paulo?
down.
Paulo and who?
Paulo Vitor Dominguez.
Yeah, that one I remember. What's the other one?
Mike Sigrist.
Oh,
never
I remember him as well.
Yeah.
Siggy.
Man, that was quite an event.
Yeah.
Back in Minneapolis, that was good fun. All right. This game progressing. So we saw
the rats keep getting bigger, but honestly, the Shieldred's just dominating over here.
Wow, and an attack.
And an attack with it.
This attack is so hard for you to make. Like,
so what's the plan here with this attack?
Just trading for the Rafine, I think.
I guess also he wants to draw. Like, he wants to connive to draw something else.
But if you lose the Sheldred, doesn't that put you in on the back foot here?
I mean, he has their tie-in end, which is also a removal spell. Ooh, what is this? Go for the throat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna protect it from. Sorry,
Go for the throats before. Was this before blocks?
Wow.
Okay. So the Urtai here countering the go for the throat. Oh no, not just wait. No. Okay. I
Oh,
was
this
going to
was
say
with
we haven't. Are we seeing a block?
Yeah, so this was go for the throat with the ability on the stack of Rafine.
And that'll do it.
Packing it up. All right.
He made it unblockable with Scrub.
Oh, right.
Jean-Emmanuel Duprat.
Extremely well played there by Jean.
Right.
So the
We
Frenchman,
missed it.
You missed it.
I missed
I
it.
didn't.
You didn't miss it.
Luis doesn't miss
So
much,
it gave
right?
protection from white. Of course, the go for the throat was there because if he had said black, then Kazuna would have been able to block with a token. So that's why he needed to use the air tie.
Yep.
It's clear now.
I see. Okay, we've put it together and
Viewers, we got you covered. Luis kept all the information for himself.
Yeah. But that's what a good teacher does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the student work it
I
out.
let
on-
them. It's about the journey, not the.
Yeah,
not the
he wants to.
destination. Yeah.
He doesn't give us the fish, you know.
Yeah, you
You know,
teach someone to fish, and they'll eat for the rest of their life. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that old saying. What's the old saying? Teach a man to make a fire. Light a fire for a man, he'll be warm for the evening. Set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's similar to when I gave out some collector booster that people just want more, you know.
Give a Magic player a booster, and they'll be
Teach them how to make their own booster.
make their own booster, and you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble, don't you?
All right, so these are the last
Mengu's going to
five.
go on a journey of his own and find his destination.
The last five. I'm also gonna give out this sweet Magic the Gathering
Who
bag.
wants the Magic the Gathering gym bag?
All right, let's go. There's just this, the bag. Who wants the bag?
Mengu returns to the stage now. Empty-handed, but a big smile on his face. There we go. Well done, Mengu. You did a great job,
Thank
buddy.
you, thank you, thank you.
Well done. We've still got more to give away.
We still do.
Still got plenty more to give away as well.
How much do you have?
We got some collector's boosters and one more secret lair.
Do we want to open one?
Want to open one? No. We got a couple games left. We got to conserve the resources a little
Exactly. Yeah. We got some. Those resources are
bit. Limited.
limited. Boo.
I see.
Boo. They say.
I see a cosplayer down there. Do you know who won the cosplayer race?
The cosplay the race.
No, a
we had
cosplayer.
to run
on
a
the
I don't
race.
think they
Award,
were.
award. Sorry.
We had all the cosplayers line up, and they did the 100-meter sprint, and the people who had the very big, heavy costumes. So it was someone, I can't remember their name, but they were cosplaying a knight from Eldraine.
Okay.
It was incredible. Handcrafted chainmail in the cosplay. It was a sight to be seen. But all of the cosplay.
I remember Las Vegas was won by Ashiok.
Ashiok, yeah.
That was incredible.
And the cosplayer actually came back for the Grand Championship. They were dressed as someone from the Golgari Swarm.
Okay.
That was amazing. I believe you can actually check out the cosplay contest online. I think
Yeah,
the YouTube
I
video
was
is
wondering, can we follow on?
up. You can go and see it. And I think
Where?
on
You know?
YouTube.
On
the Magic
YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay.
If it's not up already, it will be up into next week. And one of the hardest jobs in the world this weekend has to be the cosplay contest judges, because they had to separate out of those contestants 5 prize winners. And honestly, it could have been any of them.
I'm really happy that Magic is, supporting the cosplayer with these. Because it's great to just see them walking around.
Thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars
and
in prize
also
money.
ours.
And also, on top of all the prizes as well, the Grand Champion is given an opportunity to be one of the featured cosplayers. I know that many people will have been walking around the Eldraine area and that sort of stuff, hanging out interacting with these cosplayers. The winner of the Grand Championship, who was dressed up as a member of Rakdos, will be offered the opportunity to come back as a featured cosplayer at one of the Magic Cons next year. So that's huge. Keep an eye out for her. Looking forward to that. But yeah, the cosplay contest, one of my favourite moments in hosting these main stages, and I hope I get to do it again because
when was this?
It was yesterday. It was the headline act for yesterday. So you were busy.
Yeah, I was playing downstairs.
Crushing the 100K, making it to all the way to the top 8. Unfortunately, you wouldn't get to see that. But yeah, jump on YouTube. It should be there. Have we got a mulligan here? Looks like
Mulligan to 5.
Mulligan to 5.
That's what it looked like to me.
See, this is like the good old days of coverage, you know, just 15 minutes of shuffling and just waiting for the game to begin.
The old days of coverage, certainly, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how good they were when we were just sitting there vamping over the slow pan
And
of
also,
the opening hand.
as a player, Luis, have you ever been in that situation where you resolve your mulligan, you mulligan to 5, kept an unplayable hand, maybe even old mulligan rules, and then they tell you, can you please wait until the other match is done for coverage?
Yeah.
So you have to wait 1 hour, sit down there, cross-armed with your awful mulligan to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, what used to happen in the Pro Tour is we would sometimes hold matches, right, because we weren't recording them. So let's say these two are playing on a back table and we're waiting for, I don't know, Simon and someone else to finish playing on the front table. We'd say to them, just wait, these guys are nearly finished. We're going to come to you as soon as they're finished. But then sometimes it would take a while because there'd be a crazy top deck or a sweeper and it'd all turn around. And so you just have players sitting there. And
your mental game is over because you just did nothing for 1 hour.
And now we don't do that.
And it's just the worst.
Oh, no land drop on turn 2.
We don't do that anymore because they're all pre-recorded. But now we can move on and have a look at game number 2. JET already looking very good because Kosaka kept a 5-card hand with 1 land and hasn't drawn a second land. He does have 2 copies of Cut Down. But that's not going to be any good if there's a Thalia in the mix.
Okay,
there's second land. All right, we got a game. We got a game. Cut Down takes out the Thalia.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. I'd love to see a final game 2.
And Dark Slick Shores into Rafine. There's an answer waiting in Kasaka's hand in the form of another Cut Down, but I don't think he has. He does have a 3rd land. All right, we're off to the races. Kasaka on the mulligan to 5. He is going to put in a real fight here.
Yeah,
things lining up very well for him. The land's coming into play untapped, so we can get rid of the Thalia and then the Rafine with Ward.
Yeah, because one attack from Rafine and Cut Down can't kill it anymore.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, if your opponent misses a second land drop, your mindset is just gone. Like, I won.
You're thinking about
I won.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's over. But then they rattle off 2 lands in a row, kill your things, and then you like have to reassess. They'd be like, okay,
I got to work for this.
Okay, and I actually have to think about how this is going. Actually, I lost a match yesterday in the Sealed where similar things happened. Like my opponent missed a second land drop, and I was like, all right, I won. But then they drew lands, I flooded incredibly and lost. But like my mindset was the whole game like, all right, I won this.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep that mental game locked down. Can't let yourself get ahead of things. All right.
Double spell here.
Double spell. Yuta Takahashi making an appearance in a World Championship final, although probably not the appearance that he was hoping to make.
No.
And Denik as well, hitting the battlefield. But it's a Rafine on the side of Kosaka here.
All right,
that's a very good mulligan to 5.
Great blocker, Rafine.
Uh-huh.
A great blocker for the Fairy Mastermind.
And in hand, Shieldred Virtue of Loyalty and Wedding Announcement. So no matter what Kosaka's draw is, he will have something to play next turn that's going to continue to to keep him in this game.
Kazuna is just laughing right there. And he's just,
he's just happy to be there.
He's just happy to be here, like exactly.
Let me tell you about being happy to be there. When you're happy to be there, you don't usually win. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, all right. See, Kazuna took a draw step and took the 2 damage and then go for the throat.
That's because he drew go for the throat in the draw.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's
so
a good draw then.
That's a good draw. Yeah, really
he paused in the upkeep, decided not to cast any of the sorcery speed cards in his hand, drew the go for the throat, and then cast that. Wonderful sequencing. Really top stuff from
I like this combo.
Let's have a talk about it.
Urtai Resurrected, Fairy Mastermind, make them draw a card.
That reminds me of the combination of like Larset or whatever, Leovold and
Vendilion Click, exactly.
That's a cube synergy right there.
The number of times I've seen that red like wow effect on
Arena.
Yeah. As you, I've never cast Faithless Looting into that card. No one's ever seen me do it, and there's no proof online with Twitch clips made by probably these jackals down here who can attest. No, are they shaking their heads? They're going to keep their silence as well. Very good. Thanks, John. Thanks, Jim.
Do you think Fairy Mastermind belongs to the cube?
Yeah, great in cube.
Great addition.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
No?
Should I get one?
They're not that hard to get.
And ask
You to sign it?
You to sign
to
it?
sign it?
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2 Fairy Mastermind stamped from the PT and signed. That's good. That's one of my great
Do you prefer do you like the stamp on your cards? Yeah.
Stamp cards are great.
You like that?
Yeah. I rare drafted a Heuristic Study yesterday.
Nice. What pick?
I don't know, 4, maybe 5. No, that's not true. I don't know. No, it was there was no playables over it.
Oh dear, that's sweet. All right, in we come now. This is the Urtai, the Denic, and the Fairy Mastermind getting in. Kasaka on the ropes here a little bit. Skrell, Shieldred, and instant speed, and it
here.
Couldn't have played that faster. And JED, blood in the water for him. Kasaka on 11, turns them sideways. The Japanese player tapped out.
His chances
I don't think he has too much to think
speak.
about. Yeah, he's going to make something else disappear very shortly as well, and that is Kasaka's life total.
This is going to be game number 2.
It's 8 damage, some quick calculations.
Can't do anything about it. JED takes out game number 2. One
game more.
Game away.
Luis, do you want to do something?
Want to give some packs away? Yeah, let's give some packs.
Let's go.
All right. All right. Woo! Whoa!
Luis
Nice.
making his way out to feed the hungry thousands.
All right.
And heading off to...
All right. Here you go. I got you.
Just
people in
silence.
the back, there we go.
Just silence, waiting for.
Yeah, waiting for the trough to be filled. How greedy little Busipi is at the back here. Oh my goodness. And we've got one of our cosplayers at the back there. Turn your attention over. We've got Sir Ginger all the way from Barcelona. Look at this. Featured in our cosplay contest yesterday. What a very fearsome looking cosplay as well.
That face is very. You know, in my draft deck, I had 2 Ginger Brutes.
Yeah.
I lost the first round.
But
I didn't have any Sir Ginger. So
no Sir Gingers.
That could have been the difference.
Yeah. Ginger Brute.
What do you think about Ginger Brute in draft?
It's good.
I watched some of your draft deck.
I play it.
Where you were doubting its power.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty good. Like, you have to have plays to make it bigger.
Younger old tokens. I had Dragon Mantle as well.
Well, Mengu, in your winning in yesterday, you were playing against Alex Nikolic, Quarter Calls. And you had not just a Ginger Brute, but the Agatha Soul Cauldron.
Actually, it wasn't mine, the Ginger Brute. Alex sided it in against my Boris deck because I had a lot of 2-1s.
Yeah.
He drew late.
Yeah.
I drew my Agatha Cauldron.
Yeah.
Which, I wouldn't say I rare drafted it, but let's say when I picked it, I wasn't thinking about playing it
I might
too
be able
much.
to play this in standard.
Maybe I'll sideboard it in.
Yep.
And so, what happened was that I played the Cauldron, and it kept my creature alive, and etc. And then at some point, there's a Ginger Brute in the graveyard, and I go like, bing.
Yeah.
I can just make my team unblockable because they all get the ability of Ginger Brute, and it just
Mengu exiled the Ginger Brute with the Agatha Soul Cauldron, gave all of his creatures the activated ability 1, can't be blocked by creatures with haste, unless the creature with haste.
Exactly lethal.
And got through, so well done.
Yeah, that's good. So the lesson here is always rare draft, because maybe you actually sideboard rare.
And that's coming from one of the best players in the world. Always take the rare.
Yeah.
Always take the rare. See, I was right all those years. I mean,
if it's worth money, there must be a reason. Otherwise, it wouldn't.
Well, look, I'd look any way that you were able to cobble together that. I don't know about cooking with gingerbread in a cauldron. Yeah, that's. I'm not sure if gingerbread's something that should be served out of a cauldron, to be honest. Like stews, casseroles, certainly.
Yeah.
But gingerbread? I don't know about that. Anyway, we're heading back to our feature match area now for game number 3 between these two players.
I love those 5 textless lands.
Yeah, the lands are great.
Right there, behind the players.
And look at the trophy. The trophy is just awesome.
It's so big.
Playing right in front of the trophy is so cool.
That trophy is objects in mirror are larger than
you can see how excited JD is.
He's overwhelmed, really.
Like I remember when I won a trophy.
Oh, tell us more.
They
was this like a game day?
No, it's a Mythic Invitational Trophy. I don't know if you heard of it. So they gave me a case to put the trophy in.
Yes.
And I had to then we went to the dinner after the tournament and then went around. And the case was too heavy for me. Like my arm were, I don't know if you can see, but I don't have much muscles either.
Yeah,
I play a lot of Magic.
Not like these days.
I don't
absolutely.
I don't train very much. So I actually asked my friends to carry. They were just exchanging to carry. You know, because it was too heavy.
He's too much of a big shot to carry his own trophies.
The case was too heavy.
It's a common problem. Your trophies are too heavy.
Yeah.
The check is just too big. You gotta,
Hey,
what about your check?
It's in my office.
How did you transport it in the airplane?
Carried it.
Oh, wait.
It went in the overhead.
Did it?
Did it go in the overhead?
Yeah.
Is it now like moderately played condition? Yeah.
Do they not do it anymore, eh?
I was talking to my boss, Greg Collins, right? Greg Collins, executive producer of these shows. You never see Greg. He is one of the hardest working people in the building. He's the reason that
he's right there. He's right
Where is
there.
he? Greg Collins?
Yeah, right there, right there.
Where is he? Greg Collins, everyone! Greg Collins, the reason that this show exists.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why we're all here.
The reason that we're all here enjoying this con in the way that we are. But I want to tell you something. He made me an offer, and I'm thinking about taking him up on it. He said, because we were looking through, it was during your segment yesterday, the Pro Tour recaps. And there are all these photos of the people holding up the big checks, big smiles on their faces. And Greg's like, oh, that's cool. Look at that trophy. I'm like, Greg, man, we got to bring back the big checks. He's like, oh, it's a lot of hassle. There's so many things you have to do. Transporting them is a nightmare. I'm like, man, come on. I'm sure you can make it happen. He's like, listen, if you want to pay for it, we can make the big checks happen. If you want to take it out of your rate, we'll do it. So I have now the very difficult decision to make.
So it's your fault we don't have the big checks now.
I don't like that you put it in that way because there's not really a way for me to deny it. The only thing, now it's not Greg's fault that there's no big checks. Now it's my fault. All right, everyone. PT Chicago, look forward to the Riley Knights. I can put my name, I can put my face on it. Let's go. I hope they don't take the prize money out of my pay as well. Oh, my goodness.
So we're seeing another mulligan here, which
dear.
We'll see how it goes.
Not ideal for Kazuna Kasaka.
There it is, the face of someone that's up 2 games, and the opponent is
one game away from the World Championship. No, look, JD, he's a quiet guy.
Yeah.
He's a thoughtful guy. He will engage. He'll chat to you if you've got ideas you want to discuss.
He's got opinions.
He's got opinions, but he's not.
And he's a cube lover.
Yeah,
he loves the cube. He's the format he plays the most. Arena cubes.
That's why I think he's great.
Yeah. That's why he made the final. Like, if you play enough Arena Cube, you can also get to the final of...
Oh, is that Mold 5?
Oh, boy.
This is where you...
He's sad. You can see that, like, oh, no, I'm going to mulligan to 5.
Oh, no. All right, hopefully Kazuna Kasaka can pull a 5 of his life out here.
The only problem with that, though, is this is a grindy matchup, a lot of 1-for-1s. It's kind of hard to run away with the game, so it's certainly possible to win on a Mold 5. It's just...
What about mulligan 4?
Well, no one could ever win on a mulligan.
No, it's unwinnable.
In fact, if you mulligan to 4, they have to change the rules so it doesn't happen.
Right.
You mulligan to 4, and it goes to the top level. Like, no, we got to change this.
Keeping on 5,
all right.
you can come back from it. Does take kind of a specific
Jean-Emmanuel Duprat.
So what's going to be
on the European GP circuit all these years ago? Now, 1 game away from a World Championship.
I was going to say, what's going to be the next mulligan rule after Kazuna mulligans?
Yeah.
The Chicago mulligan. What's the Chicago mulligan going to be? I think the current mulligan rules are great.
There you go.
I remember there was the debate about them, how obviously, like everything else that has ever been, every other innovation in Magic, they were going to kill the game. One of the biggest arguments about them is that they made one specific vintage deck too good. And I was like, well, if that's the best argument you've got against it, it's probably not going to get across the line. Yeah. All right, let's have a look. What are we working with? Ooh.
Lands and spells. I see lands and spells.
Well, that's John Emmanuel's hand.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's why he's kept that. Good.
His hand actually could not get there. I don't think he has black magic.
Yeah, I was just saying he has lands and spells, but he doesn't have black. But
I mean, I'm seeing lands and spells.
He has the Raffine Tower to fix it all.
Okay.
Yes, Legends deck does not play Raffine Tower.
No, he has no tap lands. He doesn't even have the creature land.
So what are the lands? Odawara?
No tap lands at all.
I guess it's the fast lands, but they, when you're playing them, when you want to, they're not fast. They're not tap lands. All right, we're getting into it, my friends. Let's get after it. Game number 3, potentially the deciding game of the 2023 World Championship here, live from MagicCon Las Vegas. Kazuna Kasaka down 2-0 against the Frenchman Jean-Emmanuel Depraz, who is poised to write his name in the history books with 1-game win here. Potentially our next world champion if he can take it out. A mulligan to 5 on the other side of things. Opening up the account with Skrell, curving into Denik. Back over to Kasaka, who has opened the account with a 2-drop of his own into...
There's the Plaza.
Could be anything.
That's the right Lord Skitter.
Really good for Jean
The Gabriel and the Siege card here, the Sewer King.
This is the turn. Oh, Swamp. That's what he needed. He needed a black source. He just immediately ripped a Swamp.
All right.
And now we've got a game here.
Now we've got a game.
Whoa, it's a beautiful Swamp view. Foil and each.
Ravine.
An attack now with the Denik. Conniving.
Into another land. You remember the days of the advantage bar?
I do.
Were you in charge of the advantage bar?
Some games, yeah.
Nice.
Was
it like a button, like a red button?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the whole thing.
You just
it was
click
like
the
it was like
button?
under one of those like plastic cases you had to lift up before you activated it. I was put in charge of the advantage bar, and the responsibility was too weighty for my shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, so Conniving putting a counter now on the Denik. It grows to a 3-power lifelinker.
That's like mulliganing to 3.
Tough time. That Skrell that's just always there. And
Yeah, the Scrove is...
it makes it difficult.
Okay, well, he knows what he needs to do. He's
And Kasaka's still going to send it.
Yeah, because the Ganjo in the end,
Ganjo.
Skrell doesn't do anything against it.
A Ganjo with the discount so he could pay the ward. So he's got...
Yeah, Lord Skitter also a legend.
You have to do it either way.
As
like
it is.
bluff it, don't care. But also, it's 1 damage. Like,
So let's see.
It's your Ravine. Like,
We can hear Marshall and Paul in the background as well. You're getting it from both barrels here.
Skrell doesn't help against the lands, right?
Yeah.
It does not.
How do we line up these blocks here?
Can simply just choose not
It kind of depends what you want to play around. Because if you're worried about a Ganjo, you just take it.
Yep.
Because you got a lifelinker. If you think that there's something else going on, you could either go for the rat to just take the rat out, or you could just block Lord Skitter to solve most damage. But you know, it really doesn't surprise me that Jean-Emmanuel he sniffed it out.
Yeah.
He's not interested in trading Ravine here.
Yeah, so he can go down to 17 quite comfortably. He's got that Denik. Potentially that Denik can grow further. So his life total isn't really under siege hugely here.
In which case, do I attack
Kasaka, nothing in hand for him.
Well,
That he can,
Kasaka drew the second Lord Skitter and the second
Denik, yeah.
The
Nothing-
legends have a drawback, you know.
You can run out the Shieldred first. Oh, I guess you still have
Nothing that he can do on this battlefield.
Plus Iganjo with
So-
legends in play.
Jean-Emmanuel can artcast that Shieldred, but maybe you don't want to just be tapped out. If you have the option to hold up both, go for the throat and make disappear, and your
Yeah.
opponent's mana screwed.
Interesting decision point here. Does he want to be proactive, put the shield red on the battlefield, or does he want to be reactive and keep up 2 interactive spells?
Attacking with both.
Either makes good use of his mana. He can do both. Or sorry, he can do either but not both.
Is willing to let the Ravine go to a Ganjo, but you know, in exchange he gets to pump the Denik a little bit more here.
Yeah.
This is a close game, and
The Denik will be gigantic.
Yeah, you cannot counter, of course, a Ganjo with make disappear. And
No, it's an ability, not a spell, yeah.
we're seeing now, because I believe that Jean-Emmanuel is
And he's going to cash in.
Oh, so the Aganjo here on the Denik, and then the Plaza of Heroes.
that's a way to stop it. So it's funny, Plaza of Heroes is like mostly a fixing land, but it has an ability, and that
does have an
ability comes
ability.
up a lot.
Yep. Yep.
definitely one of the best lands.
As those are
I think one of the reasons to play this deck
Yeah.
secretly, it's this workhorse card that is always good and sometimes
Oh
truly
man,
great.
Denik is out of control to 5/6 now.
Yeah.
Wow, just like this deck has been around for months at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Jean-Emmanuel's deck doesn't have even that many new cards, like 2 Lord Skitters. Is that it? Like just winning
Yeah.
with what seems like the kind of previous metagame deck, yeah, right?
Yeah. A few little updates here and there, but this is a deck that has been very well established.
Do you think he played the deck because he had all the foils, so he was like, you know...
He already has the cards from the last beat, you know, whatever, you know? I'll play the same, it's okay.
Rare drafted a couple of Lord Skitters and was like, yeah, I'll put these in.
Yeah,
the Andrea Mengucci,
that's actually pretty good as well in draft Lord Skitter.
The Andrea Mengucci one-step program to competitive Magic success. Step 1, take the rare.
Yeah.
Seems to work out so well.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's the other option? I guess.
All right, Kosaka getting in with the rats here, and it looks like they're going to be... No, maybe not.
Kosaka picked up a copy of Shieldred, which he can't cast.
Do you just, like, at this point, do you throw away one of the legends that you've got a redundant copy of just so you can cast a card?
Yeah, it's certainly on the table to do that.
Okay, he's made his decision.
So do you, Andrea, do you bring all the tokens you need now to, like, you have all the right tokens and everything?
Yeah, for this limited open, I had like a stack of like 20 tokens.
I love it.
And my opponent never had them, and I was just giving to them, but at the end, please give me back because, you know.
I got to say, I'm a reformed player, and my new approach, I bring all the tokens, I bring dice.
Dude, I was slagging you off yesterday about not doing this.
I don't do it anymore.
You've turned around.
Yeah,
he's saying, wow, finally, bring all your dice, your pens, your tokens.
The next question is, do you also come up with a playmat?
No, but that's because I don't like using
one step at a time.
Yeah.
One step.
What's that?
I don't like using a playmat.
Because you don't have any. They never give out any playmats.
I have plenty of playmats. You know, a couple months ago, I went to the local game store and I gave them this many playmats. I was just do whatever you want with them, like, you know. I just wasn't using them. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're one of those things. They
accumulate.
They accumulate. You get them. All right.
Well, you could do like the magic room. I don't know if you have it in your house. You just put all the playmats instead of the walls.
You could do that.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
Yeah, I had that for a while. I remember as a stream background. Yeah.
I think we can do that. Like, I don't know how many I have, but I definitely have a stack.
Wallpaper your entire wall of playmats. Wall playmat. All right, let's dial in here and have a look at what's going on.
I believe there was
another attack here for Jean-Emmanuel. He's up to 25. This Danik and the Rafine continuing to take some names. Dark Slick Shores comes into play. Tap back to Kosaka in hand.
I mean,
2 redundant legends and one that he cannot cast at the moment. Sorry, Luis, go ahead.
Just the window of opportunity is closing very quickly for Kosaka because at this point, John Emmanuel's got to have Make Disappear, Go for the Throat, and Urtai Resurrected all just at the ready. Tons of life, huge creatures.
All right, just a little bit disclaimer here. If this game ends, don't leave because Luis still has.
Oh, he's still got a bag full of
goodies.
He's going to get rid of all of these. So, all right, let's have a look here.
He's got a replacement Danik.
Is this a Danik now?
I don't think Jean-Emmanuel particularly cares about it.
It could be anything.
Could be anything. It's a Danik. Make Disappear on the Danik. I can see cut down in hand here for Kosaka. He's going to cast it on the Skrelv. He's going to take care of that. Back over now to Dupras. In his hand, Shieldred, Go for the Throat. Urtai Resurrected. We are drawing ever closer here.
I think we gotta get ready with the box.
Ever closer to potentially crowning our next world champion, Jean-Emmanuel Dupras.
A European world champion.
Love to see it.
Love to see it.
Love to see it.
Wow, we have an Australian, an American, a European.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Representing a lot of hemispheres.
That's
here.
the Magic the Gathering.
I think between us we speak 4 languages, right? Italian, Spanish, Australian, and English.
So close, finished second.
All right. I didn't react to what you said there because I didn't hear you because it's very hard to hear what each other is saying up here. But I assume it was something either very lovely or very nasty, and I'm going to choose to believe it was something very lovely. So thank you very much, Luis. I'm sorry I blanked you on your great joke, but when Luis talks to Andrea, I just can't hear him. I just can't hear what he's saying.
It's okay. It's not that important.
All right.
Nothing I say really ever is.
Well, what's important right now is this game that's right in front of us right here. In comes the Danik, in comes the Rafine. And for 4 mana,
that is,
it's the Urtai. The Sewer King heads back to the sewer now.
4 rats against
Conga Rats.
4 rats against a whole lot of business here for Jean-Emmanuel Dupras. Kazuna Kosaka on 3 life, and he can see the world champion of Magic.
Come on, give it up for Jean-Emmanuel Dupras.
Jean-Emmanuel Dupras from France. What a result for this man who has shown himself to be one of the true greats of the modern era, the world champion of 2023. What a performance from him, Luis Scott-Vargas. So very, very well deserved.
Oh, totally. And
yeah, you predicted it.
I did.
And as I said as well, I didn't hedge my bets. I was 100% behind you on that as well, as I just like I said.
Awesome
he was going to take it out.
world champion, very well deserved, and as always, very well played.
Yep. We've seen this guy on the up and up, right? And at no point did any of us really think, well, he's peaked, right? This is as far as he can go. And he's made it now all the way to the top, the World Championship. It doesn't get any better than this. He's going to be on a Magic card, and you can see him there. Look, he's friend and countryman there.
Countryman, Gabriel Nassif right there. Previous world champion, Yuta Takahashi. But now, most importantly, it's time for collecting boosters.
Let's give away a bunch of boosters. Let's hear it, my friends.
Riley, do you want some as well?
I'll take some boosties. Let's go. Thanks for joining us here at the main stage. I'm going to head over this way, chuck some boosties out. Let's go.
Woo! What a run for that guy right there. Kazumi Kasaka burst onto the scene.
Here at the main stage across the entire weekend. It's been my pleasure to host for you all. Hope you've enjoyed your time here at MagicCon Las Vegas. I believe the show floor closes, is it 7 o'clock again or 6 o'clock tonight?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock tonight. Still plenty of stuff to do, plenty of things to get across. Hey, maybe you'll be able to snag a photo with the newly reigning world champion, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat. He'll be hanging out around the traps, I'm sure. But on behalf of the entire production and coverage team here over the main stage, thanks for being part of it. Please put your hands together one last time for my guests on the stage here, Luis Scott-Vargas and Andrea Mengucci. And on a more personal note, I want to extend my thanks to the team that has supported me so very well as we've got through the main stage here. Out the back, you don't see them, but they're the ones who make this possible. Our stage manager, Larissa, behind the stage, she's been taking good care of everyone who's come through today. And I want to thank Rich Hagan for his guidance, mentorship, and everything that he's given me over the years. And, of course, Mr. Greg Collins for putting this show on. One last time, Greg Collins, everyone. But that's all she wrote today, sports fans. Hopefully, we'll see you at the next one. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your MagicCon. Take it easy, everyone. Goodbye.
Is our champion. Mani, talk to me about the story of JED, because it seems to me he is just always at the top of the game.
I mean, he captained the French team to a World Magic Cup victory, and that was near the start of his career. He was doing excellent. And then Mythic Championship 5, second. Players Tour Online, second. World Championship 27, second. But in his fourth shot at a title, a major individual title, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat masterfully gets the job done and gets France their second individual world champion title.
I gotta say, for me, watching Jean-Emmanuel Duprat play over these years, it was just a matter of time, honestly. I thought before we had a moment like this.
It really was. It just really did feel like at some point, he is going to cross that hurdle that is waiting for him in the finals. And until then, he's just going to keep beating at it because he's just that good.
All right, everybody, it's time to award our champion with his trophy. I'm going to pass it on over to Cedric Phillips.
Thank you so much, Maria. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Magic the Gathering World Champion, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat. So JED, a couple of years ago, of course, you came up one match short in the finals of the World Championship, and I know that you know just how hard it is to make it back here, let alone the finals, let alone win the thing. Back when you lost to Yuta in the finals, what were the thoughts then? Was it an opportunity that was missed, or I'll be back again?
Honestly, at the moment, I was just happy. Like, I was at peace with losing the finals because the matchup was bad, and like I had prepared myself to lose. So in the moment, I felt happy. Afterwards, the regrets came. And yeah, as you said, like you never know if you're going to be in that position again. So like it's all a little dreamy right now, like, of course.
It does take a minute or two to set in, I'm sure. Now, I want to talk about the preparation for this tournament. 105 players qualify. We know that the limited round, 6 of them, really, really important. And I know you see yourself as a very strong limited player, and the results clearly bear that out. For Wilds Eldraine Limited, what were the thoughts coming in? Did you have a plan coming into the drafts?
Not really. I wanted to draft black or red if I could, like have that as my main color at the end of pack 1. And it didn't go that way at all in draft 1. Like, I ended up... yeah, I was blue-red, but I was blue-white at the end of pack 1. So yeah, I like this format because you can play pretty much anything. It feels old school, like the games are quite long, you have a lot of agency. So yeah, I just like this format.
I got a feeling you maybe like Constructed too. Maybe Esper Legends and Standard, which you told me a little earlier in the day, you were surprised more people weren't playing this deck, and you got the broom out, buddy. You swept the semis, you swept the finals. Why were more people doing what you were doing?
I don't know. I don't know what's up with me and playing old decks, I guess, with no new cards. There are some new cards, but people had to make me play them. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, the deck was great. Maybe it won't be the best deck in a week. I don't know. Maybe Esper Midrange is the right build, but it certainly didn't feel that way in the finals. So, I mean, yeah, you play the deck. It's very, like, it's quite easy to play too. Like, the hard part comes when you're ahead, when you're triggering Raffine. But the rest of the games are pretty straightforward. Like, you just curve out, and all your cards are insanely powerful. So yeah, great deck.
So, before we go and before you get to lift this gigantic thing up, shout outs, friends, teammates, say it loud, say it proud.
Yeah, I have a lot of people to thank. First, these guys who helped me prepare and filmed me for the whole weekend. My family, of course, who has always supported me, my 3 little sisters and my mom. They are probably not watching this right now, but maybe on delay later. And my sponsor, Majestic Games, which is a shop in Paris that has sponsored me for the whole year, and finally the payoff comes, I guess, for them. And yeah, and everyone who came to me this weekend for whatever reason, like just cheering me up, and it's just great to have so many people sharing the same game and connecting through it. And I don't know, like, when you're walking in these halls, like, even when I want to be alone, which is often the case, I'm always cheered up to see someone come up to me and say something. So yeah, that game has made me less of a solitary person than I was before, and I'm happy for it.
Well, I've got a feeling a lot more people are going to come up and say hi now to our 2023 Magic the Gathering World Champion. This trophy, my friend, is all yours. Jean-Emmanuel Depras.
Congratulations to our champion, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat. We started off the weekend here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada with 105 of the best Magic players in the world, each one with the dream of being crowned the world champion. Well, for most of those players, that dream wouldn't last long as 105 became 50 and then became 8. The field battled through Wilds of Eldraine draft with some pretty surprising results along the way. The competitors also met to show off Standard, and show it off they did, with a diverse metagame that ran the gamut from mono red to Cauldron combo to Bant control. But in the end, one dream did remain alive and was realized as Jean-Emmanuel Duprat proved he is among the best to ever play the game. A worthy world champion indeed. Thank you to everyone who's been with us through this fantastic season, from the players to the casters and the crew to the fans. We cannot wait to see you again next year as new decks are discovered and new champions are crowned. Could you be one of them? Have a great night, everybody, and congratulations once again to our champion, Jean-Emmanuel Duprat.